Dual Cultivation audiobook by Kevin, Chapter 926, A New Home, Heaven's Favorite. How do we train someone like that? One of the goddesses asked after a moment of silence. No clue. As much as I want to teach her normally, it could potentially hinder her progress instead. It would be ideal to have another Heaven's Favorite teaching her, but we don't have anyone like that in the sect. Wait, Sister Yue is also Heaven's Favorite, right? Why don't we ask her for help? Someone suddenly suggested, Sister Yue, but we don't even know where she is. I mean, we can try looking for her. I think I heard rumors of her appearing in martial heaven 100 years ago. Who should go looking for her? I will go if you let me take care of the babies first. One of them volunteered for something in return. The others looked at her. Okay, I don't mind, Wang Yunxuan said, and she continued, but let's not make the little girl wait too long. 1 year you get 1 year with the babies. Does anyone have problems with this? The goddess shook their heads. Then it's decided. Sister Biyu will be the first to take care of the babies regardless of the tournament results, but she will have to look for Sister Yue afterward. Tournament? The second Su family raised their eyebrows upon hearing this. What's this about a tournament? Little girl, I'm sorry, but you'll have to wait a little longer for a mentor. We'd like to teach you, but your talents are too great, and we don't want to hinder your limitless future, so we will get another sister that has the same talents as you to mentor you. However, we don't know her location right now, so we will have to look for her first. But if you need help or advice for anything, you can speak with any of us. Wang Yunxuan said to Yan Yan, who nodded calmly. Sometime later, Wang Yunxuan turned to look at Qiyu and said, You're from the Sacred Moon Palace, right? I heard from Sister Z, who heard from Su Yang. Your situation is a little special, and you're running away from the Sacred Moon Palace, so we're not sure what we should do with you. What do you want to do? After thinking for a moment, Qiyu said, I'd like to improve my cultivation as quickly as possible. Although Su Yang said that he'd take care of the Sacred Moon Palace and the Moon God for me, I don't want to push all of my responsibilities to him. Furthermore, my cultivation has halted in the previous world due to a lack of cultivation resources and profound qi, so I am not sure where I should start now. We may not know anything about the Sacred Moon Palace's cultivation technique, but if you need cultivation resources, we have plenty of that. Even if your cultivation halted for a few thousand years, you're still fairly young, so it won't have any permanent effect on your future as long as you cultivate diligently going forward. One of the goddesses said to her, Thank you, seniors. Qiyu nodded her head. As for your presence within the sect, we will keep it a secret and give you a new identity. Sometime later, Wang Yunxuan said, Now that everyone has a mentor, let's go see your new living quarters. After that, we will give you your uniforms. Wait a second. Sister Biyu suddenly stepped forward and said, The sacred lands forbid males from entering without permission, right? What about babies? We have a male with us, don't we? She then pointed at Su Tianying. Now that you mention it, what should we do? Babies should be fine, right? After all, they're just babies. Sister Yunxuan, maybe you can speak with the Sacred Empress and ask her for permission. He's just a baby. Wang Yunxuan frowned slightly and said, Even if they are babies, I don't think the Sacred Empress cares if they are adults or babies. Men are not allowed, especially if we cannot tell her that they're Su Yang's babies. If she told the Sacred Empress that Su Tianying was Su Yang's descendant, then there was a good chance that she'd allow it, perhaps even take care of the baby herself. But they are not allowed to reveal the fact that Su Yang is still alive. I mean, we can always not tell her and keep this a secret. We just need to make sure to keep the baby out of others' view. Someone suddenly suggested. While we can certainly do that, I do not like the idea of lying to the Sacred Empress, especially since she's the reason we have been able to live in relative peace for the past 2,000 years. Wang Yunxuan said. After the Su family scattered, they came to the sacred lands in hopes to start their new sect, and after speaking with the Sacred Empress who welcomed them with wide arms, Luo Zi and the others began living a peaceful life in the sacred lands without needing to worry about intruders or attackers, as the entire sacred lands was protected by the sacred empress. If you make it sound like that, I guess so. Then what should we tell her? We obviously can't tell her that he's Su Yang's child. We don't have to tell her anything. Just ask her for permission without giving any details. This way, we won't be lying to her, but she also won't know anything. I will think of something. For now, let's deal with their living quarters, Wang Yongxuan said. Sometime later, the original Su family led the new Su family to their living quarters in the inner areas of the sect where Luo Zi and the other Su family lived, making it also the most secure location within the entire sect. Once the new Su family settled in their new homes, they were handed their new uniform, giving them new identities. Meanwhile, Luo Zi exited the sacred lands and made her way to the Frozen Palace in her new appearance. Chapter 927 Celestial City. Hello, which room is Xiao Yang currently staying in? I am his fiancé. Luo Zi approached the front desk at the Frozen Palace and asked the worker behind the desk. The lady working at the desk looked at the ordinary-looking young lady standing before her and said, "Xiao Yang, please give me a moment to look through the guests." A few moments later, the worker gave her Su Yang's room number, not doubting her identity even for a second. Luo Zi then went upstairs and knocked on his room. The door opened a moment later and a round figure appeared before her. "Enter," he said to her. Luo Zi nodded and entered the room. Once she was inside, she created a concealment formation around the room before speaking. "Are you ready?" "Yes, how are the others?" Su Yang nodded and asked. "They're doing fine, the others should be taking care of them right now." Luo Zi said. "I see, so did they say anything?" Su Yang then asked. "What do you think? They all want to meet you," she said. "As much as I want to meet them, they'll attract too much attention." Su Yang showed a bittersweet smile on his face. "I know, that's why they have a suggestion. They will meet you one at a time and they will be disguised just like I am currently," she said. "This way they won't attract any attention and they get to meet you. What do you think?" "Well, I can't really say no to them when I've made them suffer for 2,000 years, but how will they visit me? I will be a disciple of the boundless Yin Yang sect after meeting with the god of alchemy, and they're really strict when it comes to guests. If they disguise themselves, there's no chance that they'll get to meet me," Su Yang said. "I'm sure they'll think of something. I doubt anything will prevent them from meeting you again." Su Yang nodded. Sometime later, Luo Zi retrieved 2 pills from her storage ring and handed them to Su Yang and Xiao Rong. "Eat this. They're flawless transformation pills. It'll hide your disguise much better than whatever you are using now." "Thank you." Su Yang accepted one of the pills and immediately consumed it. Although his appearance didn't change afterward, there were some slight changes to his aura. "Much better," Luo Zi nodded in approval. Now even she cannot tell that he was in a disguise. "Where do we go now?" Luo Zi asked him a moment later. "To Jade Heaven, the god of alchemy's birthplace," he said. Sometime later, Luo Zi removed the concealment formation and left the Frozen Palace with Su Yang, and they made their way to the nearest teleport formation. "Xiao Rong, you can enter my danchan to save Zi some money," he said to her as they got closer to the teleport formation. Xiao Rong nodded and entered his danchan the next moment. Once they were at the teleport formation and it was their turn, Su Yang said to the old man working the formation, "Ryuan Province, Celestial City. The capital city of the Ryuan Province will cost you 60 high-grade spirit stones per person, so it'll cost you 120 high-grade spirit stones in total. Here you go." Luo Zi handed 120 high-grade spirit stones to the old man without batting an eye. "Thank you. Please give us a minute to prepare the teleport formation." A couple of minutes later, Su Yang and Luo Zi entered the teleport formation. After entering the teleport formation, they exited in Celestial City, the capital city of the Ryuan Province and also one of the largest cities within the Celestial Heaven. The reason Su Yang decided to come to this place, instead of heading straight to Jade Heaven, was simple. The teleport formation at that city wasn't powerful enough to teleport them directly to the Jade Heaven. Out of thousands of teleport formations within the celestial heaven, there was only a handful of them that were powerful enough to teleport people to other divine heavens, and one of them was within the celestial city. Though there was another reason why Su Yang needed to go to the celestial city. "I will need to buy some ingredients," Su Yang said to Luo Zi after they arrived at the city. "Ingredients? For what?" she asked with her eyebrows raised. "In order to go to that place, we will need a certain pill, a pill that isn't sold anywhere in the four divine heavens because nobody besides the god of alchemy and myself knows it exists, much less the ingredients." He then looked at her and said with a smile, "I hope you brought enough money with you since these ingredients aren't exactly cheap." Luo Zi responded with a smile, "Have you already forgotten about my background?" "Just making sure," he laughed. And he continued, "Follow me. We're going to head to the Grand Celestial Plaza now. They should have most if not all of the ingredients we need." A few hours of traveling later, they arrived before a massive marketplace that took up a fourth of the entire city. There were restaurants, jewelry stores, weapon stores, medicine stores, auction houses, almost every kind of store in existence available in the Grand Celestial Plaza. Once they were at the Grand Celestial Plaza, Su Yang and Luo Zi began entering every medicine store available in the place. "Do you have any of these ingredients?" Su Yang showed the worker a list of ingredients. "We have the 100,000-year-old thunder god vine," said the worker. "How much do you want for it?" 100,000 high-grade spirit stones," the man said without hesitation. Su Yang didn't immediately give a response and turned to look at Luo Zi. After all, she was the one paying for everything. "We'll take it," she said in a calm voice a moment later. "Thank you for your business, esteemed guests. Allow me a couple of minutes to bring the thunder god vine here." The worker then disappeared to the back of the store, returning a few minutes later with a large box that was as long as an adult's arm. Chapter 928, Burning Spirit Wood. "Here's the thunder god vine. Please check it to see if there are any problems." The store worker opened the box, revealing a single strand of purple vine that has what appears to be lightning lines going through it. Su Yang looked at the thunder god vine for a moment before nodding his head. "It looks right." "Then that will be 100,000 high-grade spirit stones." Luo Zi then placed 10 flawless quality spirit stones that were worth 100,000 high-grade spirit stones on the desk. The worker accepted the money before wrapping the box in front of them and handing it over. "Thank you for your business," he said to them. Su Yang immediately tossed the treasure inside his storage ring before leaving the place. "How many more do we need?" Luo Zi asked him afterward. 8 more ingredients," he said. After their first successful trip, the two of them proceeded to visit every single medicine store within the Grand Celestial Plaza. Unfortunately, despite their early success, they were unable to buy another ingredient until 20 stores later. A few days later, they entered the last available medicine store within the Grand Celestial Plaza. "Do you have any ingredients on this list?" Su Yang showed the middle-aged woman working at the store his list that had half of its ingredients crossed out. "We have the 50,000-year-old burning spirit wood. It'll cost 150,000 high-grade spirit stones." "Okay, we'll take it," Luo Zi said. "I will be right back." After spending a few minutes in the back of the store, the middle-aged woman returned with a rectangular box wrapped with a special cloth. She then unwrapped the cloth and opened the box, revealing to them a piece of charred wood that emitted an ancient and profound aura. Su Yang raised his eyebrows when he saw this charred wood. The middle-aged woman then quickly closed the box and wrapped it back up with the cloth again. "That would be 150,000 high-grade spirit stones," said the middle-aged woman. However, Luo Zi didn't retrieve the money and stood there in silence. She then turned to look at Su Yang and asked him, "What do you think?" Su Yang looked at the middle-aged woman and asked her in a calm voice, "Are you doing this because we look inexperienced or easy to fool in your eyes?" "What do you mean by such words?" The middle-aged woman immediately frowned. "Oh, you're acting like you have no idea what you did now. Then allow me to enlighten you." Su Yang pointed at the box and said, "That's not a 50,000-year-old burning spirit wood. It's a 50,000-year-old burning wood that's almost identical to the burning spirit wood. Unless one is a somewhat experienced alchemist, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference. As for it's worth only a tenth of what the burning spirit wood is worth." The middle-aged woman began sweating inward when she heard Su Yang's words. "Is that so? I deeply apologize. I must have made a mistake and brought out the wrong one. Please give me a moment. I will return with the proper one." The middle-aged woman retrieved the wooden box. However, before she could go anywhere, Luo Zi spoke in a calm voice, "That won't be necessary anymore." She then turned around and said, "Let's go, darling. Looks like we'll be bothering Senior Chin today." The middle-aged woman immediately froze her movements when she heard Luo Zi's words, and she quickly turned around and exclaimed, "Wait, I didn't intentionally scam you. I swear it was just an honest mistake." Senior Chin was a prominent name within the Grand Celestial Plaza, mostly because he controlled the entire place. The Grand Celestial Plaza also has a zero dishonest business policy, and those who are caught doing shady business will have their business taken down and permanently banned from doing business in the Grand Celestial Plaza again, which is a major loss for the business since the Grand Celestial Plaza is one of, if not the most profitable places in the celestial heaven. Just an honest mistake, huh? For some reason, I cannot convince myself to believe such words. Luo Zi said, "How about this? I will give you a discount for my mistake. 100,000 high-grade spirit stones instead of 150,000. The middle-aged woman showed them a stiff smile on her face. "Only 50,000 high-grade spirit stones. Is your store really only worth that little?" Luo Zi asked her with a nonchalant look on her face. The middle-aged woman's body trembled in anger after hearing such words, and she screamed, "Are you really going to try and take down my business because of a single mistake? You also have no proof that I tried to scam you. You know what? Go ahead. Go complain to Senior Chin. I doubt he'll even listen to some unknown brats." A mysterious smile with a hint of coldness appeared on Luo Zi's face, and she retrieved a jade medallion with the name Qin Kai engraved onto it. "Maybe he'll listen to me if I have this," Luo Zi said afterward. "That's the Grand Celestial Plaza's jade medallion. Why do you have something like that? It must be fake." The middle-aged woman gasped when she saw the beautiful medallion in Luo Zi's grasp. The Grand Celestial Plaza's jade medallion is a special object that is only given to the most valued and trusted customers. As long as one has this medallion, their status within the Grand Celestial Plaza would only be below Senior Chin himself. Whether it is real or not will be apparent once I give Senior Chin a visit. I hope it was worth it trying to take advantage of seemingly ignorant people. The middle-aged woman gritted her teeth in anger. Once Luo Zi and Su Yang reached the door of the store, she shouted in a regretful voice, "Fine. I will give the 50,000-year-old burning spirit wood to you for free as an apology for my mistake. In return, please forgive this one for her mistakes. It will never happen again. I swear." Luo Zi stopped walking and turned to look at the woman, and after a moment of silence she nodded. "Okay. Chapter 929 Golden Treasure Auction House. Here's the real 50,000-year-old burning spirit wood." The middle-aged woman returned with the real treasure a few minutes later. Su Yang glanced at the charred wood in the box that looked the exact same as the previous treasure besides its shape and being slightly smaller in size, and nodded his head in silence. He then tossed the treasure into his storage ring. A few moments later they left the store. It's been a while since I experienced being scammed. If I wasn't disguised, such a thing would have never happened. Luo Zi sighed after they left the store. You'll get used to it, said Su Yang with a smile on his face. Anyways, now what? That was the last medicine store and we still need 4 more ingredients. Luo Zi asked him a moment later. There are still auction houses. Let's get a list of everything being sold from an information broker. Couldn't we have done that in the beginning? We could have saved so much time. Luo Zi said with her eyebrows raised. Su Yang chuckled and said, of course, but that would mean we get to spend less time with each other. Darling. Luo Zi looked at him with widened eyes and a warm smile on her face. They proceeded to look for an information broker within the Grand Celestial Plaza. How may I help you? An old man sitting by a large fountain spoke when a fatty and an ordinary-looking girl approached him. We'd like to buy some information, said Su Yang. What kind of information? I want to know every single ingredient being sold in the auction houses here for the next week, he said. 10 medium-grade spirit stones for that information and I will have it ready by the end of the day. Make it 20 and I will have the information within half the day, said the old man. Here's 50 medium-grade spirit stones. I want the information within the next 2 hours. Or are you not able to move that fast? Su Yang said to him. The old man smiled and said, I will see you at this exact spot in 2 hours. Su Yang nodded and handed the spirit stones to him, not worried that the old man might not return. What do you want to do in the meantime? Want to get something to eat? Su Yang asked Luo Zi afterward. Sure. Once they arrived at a restaurant, Su Yang said, Zio Rong, you can come out of there now if you'd like. Zio Rong, who had been resting inside his dantian this entire time, appeared outside. They then entered the restaurant together and proceeded to spend the next 2 hours satisfying their taste buds. 2 hours later, they returned to the water fountain. After looking around for a second, they found the old man sitting at the same location and approached him. Welcome back. The old man then handed him a pamphlet that had every single auction house within the Grand Celestial Plaza listed alongside all of the treasures they were selling. Thank you. Here's another 50 spirit stones for your hard work. Su Yang then tipped the old man another 50 medium-grade spirit stones. Thank you for your business and graciousness, young master. The old man bowed to him. After leaving the area, Su Yang opened the pamphlet and began looking through the list. Perfect. The rest of the ingredients are being sold in these auction houses, but we'll have to spend 2 more weeks in this place to acquire all of them, Su Yang said. And continued, the Golden Treasure Auction House will be selling the nightmare dust in 3 days, which is the earliest ingredient we can obtain. In the meantime, let's have some fun, Luo Zi said with an enchanting smile on her face. Sometime later, they rented out a room in one of the countless hotels within the Grand Celestial Plaza. Once they entered the room, Luo Zi created a concealment formation around the room and removed her disguise. Su Yang also removed his disguise before entering the bed. You know, it's a weird feeling cultivating with a younger you, she said to him. Would you prefer my older appearance then? He asked her. I never said it was a bad feeling. I like it. It makes me feel younger as well. Luo Zi smiled. After chatting for a few minutes, they started embracing each other on the bed, and they would continue this for the next 3 days until the Golden Treasure Auction House was auctioning the nightmare dust. Before leaving the hotel, Su Yang and Luo Zi consumed another pill to disguise themselves again. Once they were outside, they started making their way towards the auction house. An hour later, they arrived at a large circular building that was made mostly out of gold and had the golden sign, Golden Treasure Auction House, hung directly above the golden gates at the entrance. The interior of the building was also decorated with gold antiques, not to mention the gold walls. The place was also incredibly spacious, with tens of thousands of available seats, And this didn't include the VIP area that was located above the public area. Su Yang and Luo Zi picked a random seat in the front and began waiting for the auction to start since they arrived early. While they waited, Su Yang retrieved the pamphlet he got from the information broker and looked at what else the auction house was selling today. Although there were many valuable treasures being sold, none of them really caught his eyes besides the nightmare dust. About 2 hours later, when the auction house was 90% full of people, the lights in the building suddenly dimmed while the platform in the front brightened with light. Then, a beautiful young lady walked onto the stage and spoke with a bright expression on her face. "Welcome to the Golden Treasure Auction House, guests and esteemed guests. We will begin the auction shortly, but first, allow us to quickly go over the rules. Chapter 930, Life-Saving Treasure. First and foremost, only bid on an item if you're serious, and you have the funds to pay for it afterward. Failure to pay for a treasure after winning the bid will have serious consequences." The young beauty began speaking of the rules shortly after her appearance. 2. Please respect each other as fellow bidders. You are not allowed to pressure others into giving up simply because they are outbidding you by using your status or background as pressure. If you break this rule, we will have to ask you to leave regardless of your background. If you wish to challenge us, just remember that the Golden Treasure Auction House is backed by Senior Qin, Lord of the Grand Celestial Plaza. In the 4 divine heavens, one's status is incredibly important and is held in higher regard than even one's cultivation most of the time. Because of this, it has become somewhat natural for people to use it for almost everything, and this included bullying others. Now onto the 3rd rule. The Golden Treasure Auction House only accepts spirit stones and spirit jades for payment. Unless specified by us, we will not accept trades. Please keep this in mind. Next rule is no refunds. The moment you win an auction, that treasure is already considered yours, and the auction house will not accept refunds or returns regardless of the circumstances. Last but not least, to save time, please respect the previous bid. If there is a bid before yours, your bid should increase it by a sensible amount. For example, if there is already a bid of 1,000 low-grade spirit stones, your bid shouldn't be 1,001 or 1,010 spirit stones. After all, we don't want to spend an entire day on a single treasure. Now that you all know the rules, I hope you'll respect and honor it. After taking a deep breath, the young lady continued, "And without further ado, let's start the auction with our first treasure, the Silver Dragon Lance." A moment later, another beautiful young lady appeared on the stage while carrying a long tray with a silver spear resting on it. This Silver Dragon Lance is a spiritual treasure at the Empyrean grade, and it's made from scales of a silver dragon, making it incredibly durable and near indestructible. Not only that, but it also enhances all fire element martial techniques. The bid will start at 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. The moment the bid began, people began raising their hands to increase the bid. 110,000 high-grade spirit stones. 120,000. 150,000. 200,000. A few minutes later, the silver dragon spear was sold for a grand total of 500,000 high-grade spirit stones. The second auction started shortly after. For the second auction, we have another Empyrean-grade spiritual treasure. Once the girl carrying the tray returned to the stage, she showed the crowd a pair of black and white daggers. This is the Yin Yang dagger. It has a unique skill that allows one to ignore spiritual energy. This means that no matter how powerful your enemy, as long as you can land a hit on their body, it will guarantee damage. The bid will start at 300,000 high-grade spirit stones, 500,000 high-grade spirit stones, 550,000, 700,000. In just a minute, the price for the Yin-Yang dagger increased all the way to 1 million high-grade spirit stones. After another 3 minutes of aggressive bidding by the crowd, the Yin Yang dagger sold for a grand total of 1,500,000 high-grade spirit stones to some young man wearing a disciple uniform. The auction did not stop for any breaks and continued in this manner for over half an hour. For our next treasure, we have a unique life-saving treasure in the form of a necklace. It was found deep within the red poison swamp last year, and it has the ability to defend one against any attacks below the ancient sovereign realm. However, according to our experts that examine the treasure, there is only a single use left in this treasure before it loses its effect. Regardless, it is still a life-saving treasure that can save one's life during a crucial moment, and life-saving treasures are generally very sought after because of their practicality and value. Therefore, the bid will begin at 1 million high-grade spirit stones. 1,010,000 high-grade spirit stones. I bid 1,100,000. 1,500,000. To nobody's surprise, this auction with a life-saving treasure that could save one's life attracted more participants than any of the previous auctions. In just minutes, the price for the treasure skyrocketed to 5 million high-grade spirit stones. If one were to convert that to ordinary spirit stones, it would be equal to an astronomical amount of 500 trillion spirit stones. This amount of spirit stones was so massive that even if everyone in the mortal world Su Yang came from were to combine their money, it would not equate to a small fraction of this amount. Is there no one else? The current highest bid is at 5 million high-grade spirit stones. Going once. Going twice. 6 million. A voice suddenly resounded at the last moment, raising the bid by an entire million. This sudden and massive bid surprised everyone in the auction house, and they all turned to look at the person who currently has her hand raised. It was a young lady with ordinary features across the broad. When Su Yang noticed that Luo Zi had suddenly participated in the bid, he turned to look at her before asking, "Why do you need something like that? It's worthless to you." She smiled at him and said, "It's not for me, silly, it's for you." Her words left Su Yang somewhat speechless. 6 million going once, going twice, and sold. Congratulations on winning the auction, esteemed guest, the young lady said while looking at Luo Zi with an excited look on her face. Chapter 931 Nightmare Dust. After Luo Zi won the bid, they continued on with the auction, as she would have to pay for the treasure only after the auction. After another 2 hours of chaotic bidding, the young lady on the stage eventually carried out a tray that had a small bottle of purple substance resting inside. This is a unique treasure called Nightmare Dust. It is only found deep within the Nightmare Valley, where natural hallucination occurs. They are usually used as an ingredient when concocting pills, being a key ingredient to multiple powerful pills such as the Nightmare Pill and the Purple Poison Pill, to name a few. The bid will start at 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. 500,000 high-grade spirit stones. Luo Zi was the first to raise her hand, increasing the price by 500% instantly. Many people who had intentions of bidding immediately gave up after hearing the price, as they knew that their chances of winning were incredibly low if they didn't shell out a fortune for the Nightmare Dust. However, there were still a couple of people who decided to bid against her. 510,000. A middle-aged man raised her hand. 520,000. 530,000. 600,000. Luo Zi said. The place quickly turned silent after Luo Zi's bid. 600,000 going once, going twice, 1 million. A deep voice suddenly resounded from the top floors in one of the VIP areas. Luo Zi's eyebrows lifted slightly when she heard this voice, and then she raised her hand and said, 1,500,000. 2 million. The deep voice quickly returned. By now, the price of the Nightmare Dust was far above what it was worth, even breaking records in the auction house. Heavens! The last time nightmare dust was sold in the Grand Celestial Plaza, it went for 600,000 high-grade spirit stones at the Spirit Jade auction house, and that already shocked people. But compared to this, the bidders were dumbfounded by this auction, and they were curious why these two individuals needed the nightmare dust so desperately. 3 million. Luo Zi continued the bid, adding another million to it. The deep voice didn't immediately respond, clearly hesitating whether he should continue or not. 3 million high-grade spirit stones going once, going twice, and sold. Congratulations, esteemed guest. You have won the nightmare dust for 3 million. In just a single auction, Luo Zi has spent a total of 9 million high-grade spirit stones on two treasures. Of course, this amount wasn't anything too significant for her, and was only akin to a drop in the ocean. The auction ended after another hour. After the last treasure was sold, the young lady on the stage said, "Thank you all for participating in today's auction. If you have won a bid, please follow one of these ladies, who will lead you to another room where you can pay for your treasures." Over a dozen pretty young ladies appeared on the stage. Luo Zi and Su Yang picked a random girl and followed her to another room a few minutes later. Your total will be 9 million high-grade spirit stones, the young lady said to them. Luo Zi proceeded to hand over 900 flawless-grade spirit stones to her. "Thank you, here are your treasures." The young lady then handed them a tray with the necklace and the nightmare dust resting on it. "Here you go." Luo Zi took the treasures before handing them to Su Yang in a casual manner. "Thanks," he said as he tossed them into his storage ring. "Just 3 more now, huh?" However, before they left, the young girl said, "Excuse me, esteemed guests. Since you have spent over 5 million high-grade spirit stones at our auction, you have qualified for the VIP area. The next time you come here, you may show this to one of the workers here and they will take you to the VIP area." She then offered them a medallion made completely out of gold. Luo Zi accepted the medallion, even though she doesn't intend on returning any time in the future before leaving the auction house with Su Yang. "When's the next auction?" Luo Zi asked him afterward. "In 4 days," he said. "Then let's get back to the hotel and have some more fun for the next 4 days," she said with a smile on her face. However, before they could get very far away from the Golden Treasure auction house, an old man wearing purple robes appeared before them and blocked their path. Su Yang raised his eyebrows when he saw this old man's uniform, and he immediately recognized it as the Violet Furnace Academy's uniform, one of many alchemy sects within the celestial heaven. And judging by the pattern on his clothes, this old man was a sect elder from the Violet Furnace Academy. Although this old man hasn't said anything yet, it was clear to both Su Yang and Luo Zi what he wanted. "How can we help you?" Luo Zi asked him. The old man smiled and said, "My name is Gao Huan, and I am a sect elder of the Violet Furnace Academy. If you can't already tell by my voice, I was the one who was bidding for the nightmare dust." Indeed, this old man from the Violet Furnace Academy was the one who went as high as 2 million high-grade spirit stones when bidding for the nightmare dust. "And what do you want from us? If you're here for the nightmare dust, then I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere," Luo Zi said, not caring about his background. The old man remained smiling despite her words, and he said, "If I could find the nightmare dust elsewhere, I wouldn't be bothering you right now. I have been looking everywhere for the nightmare dust the past year, but to no avail, and I really need it to help my disciple with his breakthrough. Is there any way we can talk through this?" Chapter 932, Dragon Bindweed. "I only have 2 million high-grade spirit stones for me, so I cannot buy it off you, or I would have continued to bid. Maybe there is something else I can do for you." Luo Zi shook her head and said, "Unfortunately, we also need the nightmare dust, so we cannot give it to you regardless of your offer. Now if you'll excuse us, we have somewhere else to be." The smile on the old man finally disappeared, and he spoke in a deep voice. Young lads, think about this more carefully. You can either leave this place on good terms with the Violet Furnace Academy, or you can leave as. The old man didn't finish his sentence, but even an idiot could tell that he was threatening them with his background. Luo Zi stopped and said, "You're going to hold a grudge over something this insignificant. That says a lot about your character and the Violet Furnace Academy. And if you're going to threaten someone, at least make sure you have sufficient backing to do so. The Violet Furnace Academy is barely a top 100 sect within the celestial heaven. How dare you go around bullying people with such a backing?" Luo Zi then retrieved the Grand Celestial Plaza's jade medallion and showed it to him. That's the old man was greatly shocked when Luo Zi suddenly revealed her token. "Maybe I should visit the Violet Furnace Academy and speak with your sect master. I happen to know Senior Guan very well." The old man's body trembled when she mentioned his sect master so casually. Please have mercy. I was wrong." The old man quickly lowered his head and apologized to them. HMPH. Luo Zi couldn't be bothered to waste her time with this old man any longer and proceeded to walk away. "Are you sure it's okay to flash around the Grand Celestial Plaza's jade medallion so casually? What if it reveals your identity?" Su Yang asked her afterward. "It'll be fine. It's not like I am the only person in the 4 divine heavens with a Grand Celestial Plaza's jade medallion. In fact, there are hundreds of them. And even if my identity is revealed, it doesn't matter too much as long as your identity remains safe," she responded. Sometime later, they returned to the hotel and proceeded to spend the next 4 days embracing each other. On the 4th day, they went to participate in another auction that was selling one of the ingredients they needed, and Luo Zi ended up spending another 1,000,000 high-grade spirit stones. The next auction was a week away, and the auction happened to be selling the last 2 treasures they needed for the trip. The Vermilion Dew will begin at 300,000 high-grade spirit stones. 1,000,000. Luo Zi raised her hand first. When the others heard the price, those who had their hands raised quickly lowered it. 1,000,000 going once, going twice, and sold to this esteemed guest for 1,000,000 high-grade spirit stones. A few auctions later, the last ingredient they needed appeared. The dragon bindweed will start at 500,000 high-grade spirit stones. 1,000,000. Luo Zi was the first to bid again. 1,100,000 high-grade spirit stones. Another person called out after her. 1,500,000. A new bidder joined. The dragon bindweed was much more sought after than the Vermilion Dew, mostly because it was the key ingredient to many high-tier pills and more practical. However, under Luo Zi's seemingly inexhaustible wealth, the other bidders were left speechless. 2,000,000. In the end, Luo Zi won the auction again. After paying for the treasures at the end of the auction, Luo Zi and Su Yang returned to the hotel. Su Yang laid all 9 treasures on the table and nodded with a satisfied look on his face. "We just need to reach the Jade Heaven and head to the center of the Jaded Garden now." "Wait, we have to go to the Jaded Garden. Why didn't you say this earlier?" Luo Zi sighed. "What's the matter? Is there something wrong with the Jaded Garden?" Su Yang asked her. As far as he was aware, the Jaded Garden wasn't a special place that required special attention, so why was Luo Zi acting like this? Around 1,000 years ago, the Jaded Garden suddenly became enveloped by an extremely deadly fog that can kill even a cultivator at immortal ascension if ingested. This poison fog is so powerful that even those with a divine body cannot get close. Experts have tried to examine the poison, but not even the best alchemy masters in the 4 divine heavens can figure out what created this poison, nor do they have any solutions for it. It's literally impossible to enter the area. Perhaps the god of alchemy might be able to concoct a pill that can protect one against the fog, but, well, you already know the situation with her. Su Yang raised his eyebrow after hearing this, and he asked her, "What does this fog look like?" I have not personally seen it, but from what I heard, it's a black fog. Su Yang immediately began pondering. Do you have an idea what it is? Luo Zi had this feeling and decided to ask him. He nodded and said, when I was still studying under the god of alchemy, I recall seeing something similar. I asked her about it, and she told me that it was an experiment to create the most powerful poisonous pill in the four divine heavens. You're telling me that the god of alchemy was the one responsible for the black fog, that she's the reason the jaded garden became enveloped in this deadly poison? Luo Zi was speechless. Yes. The entrance to her secret location is also within the jaded garden, so it makes perfect sense why she did it, especially if she doesn't want to be bothered or found. Then what should we do now? Unless you have a solution for the poison fog, we won't be able to meet her. Luo Zi then asked him chapter 933, leaving celestial heaven. Unfortunately, I don't know what she used to create the poison fog, nor do I have any idea how to deal with it. Su Yang shook his head. When I asked her about it, she was still experimenting on it, so she didn't tell me much about it, only some of the ingredients she'd used, and they were all some of the most poisonous ingredients in the four divine heavens. It even shocked me when I learned the ingredients. And even if I knew all of the ingredients, I don't have the capability to concoct a pill that can defeat something the god of alchemy personally made. It's impossible. Su Yang shrugged, giving up without even thinking about trying. As someone who used to study under the god of alchemy, he knew very well how powerful her pills were, especially if they were created by her. He has challenged her many times before, but he never managed to beat her after countless attempts. Then what now? If we cannot enter the jaded garden, we won't be able to meet the god of alchemy. Are we going to give up seeing her now? Luo Zi asked him. No. There's still another way to meet her, but that will require going to her sect and getting permission to enter the most secluded and secured area in the entire sect, which is even more impossible than getting past the poisonous fog in my current state. I say we should still head to the jaded garden and see if there's anything I can do. If not, then I will simply give up on meeting her for now. Are you okay with this? Su Yang asked her. I don't mind. I am just tagging along anyway, she said. All right, then let's head to the jade heaven for now. Luo Zi nodded. They checked out of the hotel sometime later and began making their way towards one of the most powerful teleport formations within the celestial heaven. A few hours later, they left the grand celestial plaza and arrived before a massive teleport formation that was almost a mile in diameter. Su Yang looked around once they arrived at the place, and he could see a large sign that said, Martial Heaven, hung on top of a tall pole right outside the formation for everyone to see. Since there are 3 other divine heavens and only one teleport formation available, the workers made it so that the teleport formation would rotate the destinations every once in a while, so that everyone heading to the Martial Heaven would be able to go there at once. For those who wished to travel to the other divine heavens, they were required to wait until the teleport formation changed destination. As for how often the destination changes, the teleport formation will change destinations every 6 hours, allowing everyone to go to their destination without needing to wait too long for the rotations. Su Yang and Luo Zi then went a look at the schedule. Once they found the rotation schedule, they could see Jade Heaven listed second on the schedule right below the Martial Heaven, meaning that the teleport formation will rotate its destination to the Jade Heaven next. While they waited, Su Yang and Luo Zi went to reserve their slots to use the teleport formation, as only a limited number of people could be transported at once. 2 people, Jade Heaven. Luo Zi said to the middle-aged man working behind the counter in a large store set up right beside the teleport formation. The middle-aged man then turned to look at Su Yang and said in a nonchalant voice, That spiritual beast hiding inside your dantian also counts as an individual. Did you think that you could fool me? I have been working this job for over 10,000 years. I have seen countless people like you." Su Yang laughed when he heard the man's words before speaking in a shameless voice. "I had no idea that spiritual beasts also counted. If that's the case, then 3 people. It'll cost 25 million high-grade spirit stones for each individual traveling to Jade Heaven. 75 million in total since there are 3 of you," the middle-aged man said in a calm voice. Although the price may seem astronomical at first, it was logical if one considered how much spiritual energy was required to teleport someone from one world to another. Luo Zi then handed 7,500 flawless quality spirit stones to the middle-aged man. After counting the money, the man handed them 3 tokens with the word Jade engraved onto them. "You will need it to enter the teleport formation. If you lose it, you will have to buy another one," he warned them. "Thank you." Su Yang accepted the tokens before leaving the place. Once they had their tokens, Su Yang walked to the entrance of the teleport formation and proceeded to wait for the rotation. A few hours later, someone changed the Martial Heaven sign to a Jade Heaven sign. Su Yang and Luo Zi, alongside thousands of other people, began approaching the entrance. After showing their tokens, they were allowed inside the teleport formation, and they proceeded to wait some more until 10,000 people filled up the teleport formation. Once everyone was gathered, the workers there closed the gates and said to them, "We will now activate the teleport formation at the count of 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and activate." The teleport formation began emitting a profound light, and then a massive portal appeared. "Please enter quickly. You only have a minute to pass through the teleport formation." Su Yang and the others immediately began flying towards the teleport formation, entering the portal and leaving the celestial heaven a moment later. A few people that were not part of the group that was authorized to enter the portal could be seen flying towards the portal from outside, clearly trying to head to Jade Heaven without paying the astronomical fees. However, a couple of experts intervened by blocking them from entering the portal, with some of them even killing those who tried to enter without paying. Chapter 934 Jade Heaven. Ah, have mercy. Those who were not immediately slain by the guards pleaded them for mercy when their plans to enter the portal without paying failed miserably. The spectators were not surprised when they saw this. In fact, there are always people trying such stunts. It was so common that people could be seen attempting to do so almost every day. Some people would succeed in entering the portal without paying, but the majority of them would fail before they could even get close, with some even dying in the process. After entering the portal, Su Yang could see the other people that had entered the portal, and all of them were traveling through a seemingly endless wormhole. "Darling, how are you feeling?" Luo Zi, who was directly beside him, asked. "A little lightheaded," he said. "That is expected, since this is technically your first time entering such a powerful teleport formation in that body." Su Yang looked around and said, "It should take a couple of days before we arrive at the other side, right? It's been a while since I entered one of these, even from before." "Yes, it should take 3 to 4 days, provided that we don't encounter any rift demons." "Rift demons, huh? You probably don't know this since you recently came back, but rift demons are becoming more of a common occurrence," she said. "Really? How common are they becoming?" Su Yang asked with a surprised look on his face. "They used to appear once every 100,000 trips, but nowadays they are appearing around once every 10,000 trips. That much of a difference. How are the people dealing with this change?" "They have decided to hire immortals to take care of these rift demons. Do you see that man in the front of the group? He's an immortal cultivator at the first level of immortal ascension. His job is basically to take care of the rift demons if they ever decide to appear." So they just continue teleporting back and forth. Heavens, I cannot imagine doing such a job, especially at that cultivation, Su Yang said. He cannot imagine becoming an immortal cultivator just to become a guard for others, spending most of their time in this boring space, going back and forth endlessly. I understand where you're coming from, but these guys are paid incredibly well and sometimes even receive recognition from the Heavenly Emperor. That's why the prices went up so much, and that's also why most immortals do this job for a chance to receive the Heavenly Emperor's recognition. All just to become the Heavenly Emperor's dog. What a miserable life they must live, Su Yang sighed inwardly. If you think about it, they actually have a pretty good job. If a rift demon only appears once every 10,000 trips, and each trip takes between 3 to 7 days depending on where you're going and coming from, you basically have decades of inactive days while getting paid incredible amounts of wealth. And if you're lucky, you can even go your entire career without seeing any rift demons. And if you're unlucky and encounter a rift demon even more powerful than yourself, Su Yang said with a smile on his face, well, a couple of immortals have actually died already doing this job, but it doesn't stop others from wanting to do it due to its limited slots and desirable rewards, Luo Zi said. In fact, 500 years ago, a rift demon that rivaled even gods appeared inside a wormhole, and it slaughtered all 10,000 people that were traveling to martial heaven, including 8 immortals. It shocked the entire 4 divine heavens afterward. Really, I remember something similar had occurred about 50,000 years ago, and the rift demon killed a dozen immortals at that time. I wonder if the recent incident was done by the same rift demon. Su Yang mumbled. It's not impossible considering how few rift demons with such prowess are out there. Luo Zi sighed. Let's hope we don't encounter that monster, since even I won't be able to save us if that happens. 3 days passed in a flash, and before they realized it, the end of the wormhole was already in sight. Once they exited the wormhole, they appeared in the capital city of Jade Heaven, Divine Jade City. It's been a while since I last visited Jade Heaven, Luo Zi mumbled in a low voice as she looked around the decorated city. Compared to the capital city of Celestial Heaven, the capital city of Jade Heaven was incomparably more decorated and luxurious at glance, with many buildings made out of expensive materials that radiated with spiritual energy. However, this was expected from the richest world out of the 4 divine heavens, ranking first when it comes to economy and overall wealth. Do you miss this place? Su Yang asked her, who originated from Jade Heaven. Not really, she said with a smile on her face. After spending a few moments gazing at the scenery, Su Yang and Luo Zi went to the nearest teleport formation within the city, using that to teleport to the city situated right beside the Jaded Garden. Once they arrived at the city, they immediately realized that something was off about the city. It was incredibly quiet, almost as though the place was a ghost town. However, there were still people living within the city, as they could feel many presences around them. Did something happen to this place? It used to be bustling with people when I last visited. Su Yang asked the person managing the teleport formation, who was also the only person in sight. The man looked at him with raised eyebrows for a moment before speaking. When was the last time you visited this place? A few hundred years ago. Ever since the poison fog appeared in the Jaded Garden, people have been leaving their houses less and less, only coming out when necessary, or they risk dying from the poison fog that sometimes gets carried by the wind and enters the city. Chapter 935, Jaded Garden. The poison fog would enter the city, even though the Jaded Garden is almost 1,000 miles away. Su Yang was surprised to hear this. He didn't think the poisoned fog would affect these people who are living so far away. Of course, over 1,000 people have died from the poison fog throughout the years, the man said. Yet you're out here working diligently. I admire your dedication and bravery, Su Yang said to him. If he were in this man's shoes, he wouldn't risk his life working such a dangerous and unrewarding job. Bravery. The man scoffed in a way that made it seem like he was mocking himself, and he said, I only dare to work when there is no wind. If I feel even the slightest breeze, I will immediately. The man suddenly stopped speaking when he felt a gentle breeze blowing his figure, and he immediately turned around and ran away, leaving Su Yang speechless. Do you think the god of alchemy is aware of what's happening in this city because of her? Luo Zi asked him a moment later. Highly unlikely. However, this isn't the first time that she's affected others' lives unintentionally. Due to her thoughtless character, she has a habit of doing something without thinking about the consequences, nor the trouble it may cause others. I have experienced this many times when I studied under her. In fact, due to her unrivaled alchemy talents and her eagerness to experiment on new things, she has caused the people within all four divine heavens more than just a few headaches. I cannot count the number of times her experiments have resulted in disastrous results, sometimes even creating calamities. I have heard some stories about her deeds, and they are shocking to say the least, Luo Zi said. Su Yang showed a bittersweet smile on his face and said, Many people have warned her about causing trouble for others, and even the heavenly emperor tried to talk her out of experimenting with dangerous recipes. But she just doesn't listen, and there's nothing anybody can do about it since the majority of the most powerful pills available in the four divine heavens come from her. If they offend her and cause her to stop concocting these pills, who will bear responsibility? Nobody dares. Even the heavenly emperor doesn't dare to anger the god of alchemy, as the consequences could potentially affect the entire cultivation world. Luo Zi looked at Su Yang in silence as he somewhat bragged about the god of alchemy, sounding like he was quite proud of it. Hearing all of this only makes me wonder how you managed to. Su Yang smiled and said, We go way back. Anyways, let's go take a look at the Jaded Garden. They proceeded to make their way to the Jaded Garden, while making sure to stay as far away from the ground as possible to avoid the poison fog just in case the wind carried it. Sometime later, they arrived at the Jaded Garden. However, the place looked nothing like it did in Su Yang's memories. The Jaded Garden used to be filled with natural and exotic plants, but he couldn't even see any plants currently due to a thick black fog enveloping the entire place. I thought you were exaggerating about the poison. But heavens, I can feel my lungs burning with every breath I take despite not being anywhere near the poison, and I even have the 100 poisons body that increases my resistance to poison. Su Yang muttered in a dumbfounded voice. So is it hopeless? She then asked. Can we protect ourselves using spiritual energy? Su Yang responded with a question. Yes, but even cultivators at Immortal Ascension have trouble keeping their spiritual energy active for more than a few seconds, as the poison fog tears through spiritual energy like a sword tearing through paper. As for someone at your level, your spiritual energy will disappear the moment it even touches the poison gas, so it's not possible if you're thinking about running in there. I haven't tried it, but looking at it now, I think my spiritual energy will last around 7 seconds. 7 seconds, Su Yang narrowed his eyes at the Jaded Garden. He then turned to look at Luo Zi and said, What if you cover the both of us with your spiritual energy? You want me to share my spiritual energy with you? That will definitely shorten the amount of time I can protect us against the poison fog by at least half. Luo Zi looked at him with wide eyes. He nodded and said, I know this may sound crazy, but I want you to believe in me. If we give up now, we can forget about seeing the god of alchemy until she decides to leave seclusion or I become strong enough to enter, and that might take a few hundred if not 1,000 years. The god of alchemy and her pills are essential to some of my plans, and if I don't have her assistance before I need them, the majority of my plans will have to be tossed out the window. Are you sure we can enter her special place in under 3 seconds? Luo Zi asked him. Yes. I will open up the portal to her place from here, and once it's opened, we only need to fly into it, which won't take more than a second, he said in a confident voice. If you say so. Luo Zi nodded. Su Yang then retrieved the ingredients they acquired at the Grand Celestial Plaza and used his alchemy flames to concoct the pill while in the air. A few minutes later, all 9 ingredients were consumed, leaving behind a single semi-transparent pill that looked almost otherworldly. Are you ready? I only need to burn this pill and toss it inside the jaded garden. Give me a moment to prepare, said Luo Zi, and then she began releasing her suppressed cultivation base, causing her aura to soar. Author's note: there is a new voting system for Read Novelful called Golden Tickets for the premium novels that will reset once a month. You can get them through spending coins or gifting the novel a certain amount, 500 plus. If you don't have this in your app, update the app. Therefore, in order to bribe you into voting, I shall give you 3 bonus chapters, including daily chapters, for both Dual Cultivation and Cultivation Online if Heroes Carnage. My new novel reaches 1,000 golden tickets. Chapter 936, Medicine Paradise, Sovereign Spirit Realm, Divine Spirit Realm. Luo Zi's aura skyrocketed the moment she released her suppressed cultivation base. Divine Lord Realm, Divine Saint Realm, Ancient Emperor, Ancient Immortal. First level Immortal Ascension, second level, 5th level, 7th level. Luo Zi's aura stopped at the 9th level of Immortal Ascension, reaching the peak of Immortals. Once her cultivation base was no longer suppressed, Luo Zi proceeded to spend a couple of minutes gathering her spiritual energy, enhancing and strengthening it. Okay, I am ready, she said to him. Su Yang nodded. He then lit the pill ablaze with his alchemy flames before crushing the pill and scattering it over the jaded garden, making it look like it was raining fire. The moment the pill disappeared into the jaded garden, they could sense a change within the atmosphere there, and somewhere within the thick black fog, they noticed unnatural movements. Su Yang pointed at that spot and said, "There." Luo Zi immediately released her spiritual energy and covered both of them with it. She then grabbed Su Yang before flying at the location with intense speed. Whoosh! Their figures quickly disappeared into the black fog. Su Yang could feel the spiritual energy around them rapidly being destroyed by the black fog, but he wasn't worried that they wouldn't make it. A second after they dived into the jaded garden, their darkened vision suddenly brightened, and they somehow appeared in the sky despite flying towards the ground a second ago. Where are we? Luo Zi looked around with interest, feeling as though they'd been transported to another world. Besides the blue sky, the ground was a seemingly endless plain with countless plants and unique ingredients growing in harmony. Heavens! Is that the moon blight flower? How could such a treasure grow in this kind of atmosphere? Luo Zi was shocked when she recognized some of the treasures growing on the ground. The moon blight flower is a unique treasure that can only be grown in the sacred moon temple, yet there were some in this place that didn't look too special besides the field of precious treasures. Then Luo Zi noticed 2 large fields separated by 2 colors, red and blue. Is that the Yin dragon head flower and the Yang dragon head flower coexisting right beside each other? How is that possible? Welcome to the God of Alchemy's medicine paradise, where pretty much all existing treasures in the form of plants and medicine can be found in this small world. No matter what condition a treasure requires to be born outside, it doesn't apply in this special world. Su Yang said to her, "All existing treasures. Does this mean even the rarest treasures can be found in this place, like the celestial star flower?" Luo Zi asked. The celestial star flower is an exceedingly rare treasure that can only be found outside the four divine heavens within small and non-habitable stars floating around in the starry sky. As for its uses, it was the key ingredient to one of the most powerful pills in the world that can assist those at the peak of immortal ascension reach the celestial realm, essentially becoming a god. No matter how many times I come here, it always takes my breath away, Su Yang said with a nostalgic smile on his face. If the world learns of such a place, I can imagine the chaos and shock it will create, and it will definitely give birth to many malicious intents, said Luo Zi. And then she continued, well, now that we're here, where do we go from here? Where is the god of alchemy? She could be anywhere in this small world or not even here at all. Let's go to the only living quarters available in this place, as that is where she is most likely at, he said. Follow me. Su Yang then began flying in a certain direction, and Luo Zi followed him. As they flew across the plain filled with valuable and even priceless ingredients, Su Yang said, also, I forgot to mention this, but be on alert. What? Why? Are there spiritual beasts in here? No, but if the god of alchemy is concocting pills and we accidentally disturb her, she will attack us before knowing our identities. That does sound dangerous. After recalling the black fog in the jaded garden and how it devastated her spiritual energy, Luo Zi shivered when she tried to imagine receiving an attack from the god of alchemy. A couple of days of flying later, they arrived before two living quarters in a spacious area, and it was the only place that wasn't covered in ingredients in this medicine paradise. I don't sense her presence, Luo Zi said after checking the area with her spiritual sense. Maybe she's taking care of the ingredients, Su Yang made a quick guess. Should we just wait here? He shook his head and said, when she leaves to take care of the ingredients, she sometimes wouldn't return for months if not years, and since she has decided to hide, chances are she might not return for a much longer time since she doesn't have anything else to do. Then what should we do? Should I cause a commotion and let her come to us? Luo Zi asked. With her cultivation base, making a commotion in such a small world would be as easy as breathing. Good idea making her come to us, but we're not going to make any commotion. Su Yang then looked around the seemingly endless medicine field and smiled. I have an even better idea. Give me a few minutes. He then proceeded to fly around the area, plucking up random ingredients from the medicine paradise, almost like he was weeding the place. This dumbfounded Luo Zi. Hopefully, the god of alchemy won't mind him stealing her ingredients. Sometime later, Su Yang returned with a dozen valuable ingredients in his grasp, and he said, I am going to use these to summon her. Chapter 937, Summoning the God of Alchemy. How are you going to summon her with these ingredients? Luo Zi asked him with her eyebrows slightly raised. I am going to concoct a pill, and hopefully she notices it and comes here to investigate, he said. Huh. Luo Zi still doesn't understand how that is going to summon the god of alchemy. You see, the god of alchemy has a godlike sense of smell when it comes to ingredients, so no matter where she is in this world, she should be able to smell someone concocting pills in her supposedly secret home. Once she smells it, she will immediately come here to investigate it, provided that she's actually in this world. Luo Zi interrupted. Yes, but I am certain that she's in here. Although I wasn't certain before, I am now after coming here. What makes you so confident? She then asked. The ingredients have recently been taken care of, and that is only possible if the god of alchemy is here, and I doubt she had hired someone to take care of the medicine for her. She's incredibly stingy and selfish when it comes to her ingredients, almost childishly so, and if you touch her ingredients without receiving her permission, she will make a commotion. Hearing his words, Luo Zi's gaze turned to look at the ingredients in his hands and said, What happens if someone takes her ingredients without permission? Su Yang laughed and said, Then that person will probably die a horrible death. And he continued, Don't worry, nothing will happen to me, I hope. You hope? Whether she's in a good mood or not, I guess. Anyways, I am going to start concocting the pill now." He then paused for a moment and looked at Luo Zi with a mysterious look on his face. "What is it?" Luo Zi felt a chill go down her spine when she saw his look. "Nothing," he said before sitting down on the ground and retrieving a cauldron from his storage ring a moment later. Luo Zi frowned, feeling something obnoxious in the air for some reason. What is he hiding from me? She wondered inwardly as Su Yang prepared the cauldron. However, Luo Zi would soon find out why Su Yang was hiding from her, and it came sooner than she'd expected. Once Su Yang heated the cauldron, he began tossing half of the ingredients he'd gathered inside it, and they were all ingredients with weird shapes that she had never seen before. A few moments after Su Yang began concocting the pill, a foul smell suddenly assaulted Luo Zi's nose that caused her to start gagging. After feeling like she had her breath taken away, she exclaimed with a shocked expression on her face, "What the heck is that foulness? I have never smelled anything this disgusting before. Not even impurities smell this bad." Su Yang burst out laughing after hearing her words. "I am creating the world's stinkiest pill." "Damn it, Su Yang. How could you create such an abomination without warning me first? I will definitely have nightmares about this later. And there's a good chance that I will never forget this smell for the rest of my life." Luo Zi immediately covered herself with spiritual energy, blocking the foul smell from entering her nose, yet she could still somehow smell it. "Is it really that bad? I have forgotten about it," Su Yang said with a smile on his face. Of course, he'd sealed his sense of smell before he started concocting this stink bomb. Luo Zi had a strong urge to give the back of Su Yang's head a powerful slap, but she resisted. "Zi, can you spread the smell?" Su Yang asked her a minute later when the foulness reached its peak. "Won't the god of alchemy kill you later for stinking up her precious paradise?" "Perhaps," he said with a smile on his face, seemingly without a care in the world. Luo Zi shook her head and waved her sleeves, creating a powerful gust of wind that spread the foul smell even further. "I won't protect you if the god of alchemy decides to kill you since you deserve it," she said to him afterward. "I look forward to it," he chuckled. Meanwhile, somewhere within the medicine paradise, a small figure laid on the ground curled up like a ball while surrounded by ingredients, seemingly deep asleep. This small figure was actually a little girl, one that didn't even look to be in her teenage years. She had a delicate and small face, her skin was as smooth as jade, and its texture was white like snow. This incredibly beautiful little girl looked incredibly innocent at glance and would, without a doubt, grow up to be a beautiful woman. However, her eyes suddenly snapped open when a certain foul smell assaulted her nose. This little girl then slowly sat up and looked in a certain direction with a deep frown and vicious expression on her delicate face, looking like someone who was prepared to torture someone before killing them. "Who dares?" she muttered in a chilling voice that would freeze anyone that heard it. She then stood up and began flying towards the source of the smell. I think she's coming," Luo Zi said when she sensed killing intent suddenly appeared very far away from their location. "Really? That's great." Su Yang then opened the cauldron and tossed into it the remainder of the ingredients. A white mist then appeared from the cauldron, quickly cleansing the foul smell in the air. Of course, Luo Zi wasn't aware that he was actually cleaning up the air since she had her sense of smell still sealed. "Now we wait," Su Yang said as he laid on the ground in a relaxed manner. Luo Zi, however, remained alert, as she was worried that the god of alchemy might actually attack them on sight due to Su Yang's actions. "I swear, Su Yang, if I die because of this, I will haunt you in your next life," Luo Zi said to him. Chapter 938 God of Alchemy. A few hours have passed since Su Yang made his stink bomb and alerted the little girl who had been sleeping peacefully in the medicine paradise. Yet nobody has shown up. However, Luo Zi could still feel the killing intent quickly approaching their location. By now, all of the foul smell has already been cleansed by the white mist Su Yang created afterward. "She's pretty far away, huh?" Su Yang said in a calm voice as he laid on the floor without a care in the world and watched the clouds in this secluded world. "She should be here in less than an hour," said Luo Zi after calculating the god of alchemy's speed and their distance. "An hour, huh? I wonder if she's changed," he mumbled in a low voice. "Changed?" Luo Zi raised her eyebrows. "Well, you're pretty much the same as before. The god of alchemy, however, I'm worried that she might have changed." The god of alchemy I knew wouldn't stop concocting pills no matter what, but from what I heard, she has stopped concocting pills for the last couple hundreds of years. Su Yang sighed. "Yes, and thanks to that, the pill market has exponentially skyrocketed. Some of the rarer pills that only the god of alchemy can concoct have even become something like an ancient artifact that people are afraid of using, as they fear that once they use it, the pill will disappear forever. Hopefully, she will continue to concoct pills, or the four divine heavens will greatly suffer, especially when there is nobody out there that is even half as good as her when it comes to alchemy." After a moment of silence, Luo Zi said, "I have always wondered why the god of alchemy is so obsessed with alchemy. You got any idea?" "I don't have the slightest clue, but do people really need a reason to do something they enjoy?" "I became a dual cultivator for no other reason besides the fact it was enjoyable," he said, and he continued, "Some people are just born like that." About an hour later, Luo Zi suddenly said, "She's here." The moment she said such words, the entire atmosphere changed, and immense killing intent filled the place. When Su Yang felt this killing intent, a bead of sweat appeared on his forehead and he showed a bittersweet smile on his face. "She's really angry." "I would be as angry if I learned that someone had released such foul odor within my sanctuary," said Luo Zi in a sighing voice. "Well, do you think she's going to kill you?" "Probably." Su Yang chuckled despite their situation. A few minutes later, a small figure could be seen flying in their direction from the south, but she stopped once she was a few hundred meters away from them. "Who are you two, and how did you enter this place?" The little girl that is presumably the god of alchemy spoke in a cold tone that didn't match her innocent voice after she stopped. As much as she wanted to immediately kill these two that have invaded her sanctuary, even tarnishing it with a foul smell, she needed to know how these two individuals managed to enter her world that she thought was secure and impossible to enter, so that she could fix it to prevent future situations like this one. And before Su Yang could even respond, the god of alchemy noticed that they were currently under the effects of flawless transformation pills. Although the flawless transformation pill may work on others, even those at immortal ascension, it would never fool the god of alchemy that created the pill in the first place. "That's the god of alchemy. She looks a little bit different than how I'd imagined." Luo Zi was dumbfounded to see a little girl. While she has never spoken with the god of alchemy before, she has definitely seen her on multiple occasions, yet she looked nothing like this little girl. "Thank you for not killing us the moment you see us, Yu Xiang," Su Yang said to her with a smile on his round face, acting as though there was nothing out of the ordinary about the god of alchemy's appearance. The god of alchemy's eyebrows twitched slightly upon hearing this fatty addressing her name so casually. She then retrieved a pitch-black pill from out of thin air and raised her hand, looking like she was going to throw it at them. When Su Yang saw the black pill in her hands, his eyes widened with shock and he quickly said, "Wait, don't be hasty, Xianger." The god of alchemy's movements froze the moment Su Yang called her name in an intimate manner, his tone completely different than before. "What did you just call me?" She spoke in a cold voice that had a different tone to it, almost like she was shocked. Su Yang retrieved a pill and quickly swallowed it. His appearance then began to change itself, returning to its original form. "It's me, Su Yang," Su Yang said to her with a gentle smile on his face. Su Yang, the god of alchemy, was so shocked to see his face that she accidentally dropped the black pill in her hands. Su Yang's eyes widened when he saw this, and he quickly warned Luozi before turning around and flying away. "Run, that's the poison fog." "What?" Luozi exclaimed before following him. Boom! The black pill exploded into a massive black fog when it touched the ground that quickly enveloped the god of alchemy's small figure. "Is she okay?" Luozi asked once they were far enough from the black fog that consumed the god of alchemy and the living quarters there. The black fog was so thick that they couldn't see anything inside even with their spiritual sense. "That poison looks even more powerful than the one covering the jaded garden. I hope she's okay." Luozi spoke again after a moment of silence. Chapter 939, Take Responsibility. "Xianger, are you okay?" Su Yang called out to her. It would be ridiculous if the god of alchemy were to die in such a dumb fashion. However, just as Su Yang began sweating profusely, another explosion resounded as a massive white fog appeared from within the black fog, quickly consuming the darkness. The white fog subsided a moment later, revealing the god of alchemy's small figure once again, and she looked completely unharmed. Su Yang released a sigh of relief after seeing that she was okay. The god of alchemy then turned to look at Su Yang in a slow and stiff movement, her gaze still filled with disbelief and shock. She then began to approach them. "Are you really Su Yang?" she asked him in a low voice. Su Yang spread his arms apart and said, "Why don't you take a look for yourself? You should be able to tell whether I am still disguised or not. And how else would I know about this place, much less enter it? Do you remember when I studied alchemy under you in this place? How you would always call me useless when I concocted a bad pill, or how you would scold me for burning a pill, saying it's a waste of resources." The god of alchemy's small body visibly trembled after Su Yang spoke, and memories of their times together began flashing through her mind. Su Yang. The god of alchemy suddenly rushed forward and flew into Su Yang's embrace. However, she didn't stop even when she was in his embrace, and she continued to push forward until Su Yang could no longer move back because his body was already laying on the ground. "It's been a while, Xianger," Su Yang said to her in a gentle voice as he hugged her small and seemingly delicate body, almost like a father hugging his daughter. "How? Why? Where?" There were so many questions in the god of alchemy's mind that she only managed to utter these words after trying to speak. "I will tell you all about it later. For now, let's just stay like this for a while," Su Yang said to her. The god of alchemy nodded her head and silently laid on his body while he embraced her. Luozi watched them from above with a dumbfounded look on her face. According to the stories she has heard about the god of alchemy from others, she didn't seem the type to act so passionately. Heartless, uncaring, nonchalant. These were common words that would come out whenever one talked about the god of alchemy, yet all she could see at this moment was a lonely little girl who looked like she just found her father after losing him in the crowd. This made Luozi question whether she was really the god of alchemy or the god of alchemy's daughter. Su Yang and the god of alchemy remained in their position for well over an hour before Su Yang finally said, "Okay, let's talk now." The god of alchemy nodded her head and stood up a moment later. Once Su Yang stood up, she held onto his hand, almost like she was afraid that she'd lose him again. "Let's go somewhere more appropriate," he said. They then went back to the living quarters. Once they were inside, Su Yang took a seat by the table and Luozi sat on the other side of the table. As for the god of alchemy, she sat directly on Su Yang's lap like a child. She's really just like a child, hard to believe that she's the god of alchemy, Luozi thought to herself. When Su Yang saw the way Luozi looked at the god of alchemy, he smiled and said, "This isn't her original appearance. She's disguised just like you." "What? Why?" Luozi became even more confused upon hearing this. Why would the god of alchemy disguise herself as a little girl? Because it's easier for her to move around, at least that's what she told me before, he said a moment later, since the god of alchemy didn't respond to her. Anyways, let me tell you everything, Su Yang said, and he proceeded to explain the situation to the god of alchemy, why he suddenly disappeared or died, what happened in the eternal retribution cliff, where he has been for the last 2,000 years. The god of alchemy listened to everything in silence. Do you have any questions? Su Yang asked her afterward. After a moment of silence, she shook her head. Good, then let me start asking you questions now, and I have plenty, Su Yang said to her. Seeing her nod, Su Yang began questioning her. I heard that you'd stopped concocting pills, even abandoning your sect to seclude yourself in this place. Why? I cannot imagine the god of alchemy retiring from alchemy. Because I couldn't concoct any pills, she said in a low voice. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate a little more? After learning that you died, I could no longer concoct any pills. Every time I tried, it would result in a failure because I can't keep focused since it reminds me of you, so I eventually stopped concocting pills, she said in a calm voice, yet one could feel sadness from it. Su Yang was speechless. He didn't think that this would be the reason why she stopped concocting pills. Even if you can no longer concoct pills, why did you abandon your sect? You don't need to be able to concoct pills to manage the sect. I can only imagine the despair your disciples felt when you suddenly disappeared. Su Yang sighed. Because whenever I saw the sect elders teaching their disciples, it would remind me of our time together, so I left that place and came here, she responded. The god of alchemy then lifted her head to look at his face and said, Su Yang, you're the reason I couldn't do alchemy for the last 2,000 years. Take responsibility. Thank you for listening to the story on KevinAudio.com, Chapter 940, Pill Baseman, Take Responsibility. What do you want me to do? You cannot blame me for what happened. Blame that old man for reincarnating me without asking my permission, Su Yang exclaimed. And now that I am back, you should be able to concoct pills again, right? I want you to take responsibility by giving me your family seal, the god of alchemy said, taking them by surprise. What? My family seal. I asked you before, but you refused. Why would you suddenly want it now? Su Yang said with his eyebrows raised. I refused to accept your family seal before because I didn't want it to affect my alchemy. No, I was afraid that if I'd accepted it, my love for alchemy would dwindle since I would love you more. And I couldn't bear the thought of loving something else more than alchemy, which has been the sole purpose of my life. But when you died, I realized that my love for you had already surpassed alchemy. I just didn't realize it before you died, or maybe I didn't want to realize it. So I purposefully ignored it, fooling myself into believing that I still love alchemy more. A gentle smile appeared on Su Yang's face after hearing her reasoning, and he said, Silly Xianger, you could simply love the both of us equally, just like how I love everyone in my family equally. There's no need for you to split your love. Of course, it's also okay if you love one more than the other. It's not like you will stop loving the other because you love one more than the other. The god of alchemy nodded and said, Okay, I will try to love you and alchemy equally. All right, I will give you my family seal later, Su Yang then said. Luo Zi was speechless. The god of alchemy is going to join the Su family. This was too sudden even for her. After a moment of silence, the god of alchemy asked, Su Yang, what are you going to do now? Did you come here just to tell me that you're still alive? Well, that is certainly one of the reasons why I came here, but I have other reasons as well. I need your help. As you can see, I have to start from scratch because of my reincarnation. I plan on joining the boundless Yin Yang sect to increase my cultivation base, and I will need your pills to make sure that nobody will learn about my return before I am completely prepared, along with other things. The god of alchemy nodded and said, Okay. What kind of pills do you need? she then asked him. Su Yang then retrieved a long list from his storage ring and showed it to her. There were over 100 different kinds of pills listed there. Luo Zi shook her head and said, as expected of a shameless man, asking for so many pills at once. I don't even want to know how much that list would have cost you if you had to buy it yourself. Su Yang chuckled and said, I definitely wouldn't be able to afford it in my current state, and even you would have trouble paying for it. The god of alchemy took a moment to look at the list before nodding her head. Okay, I have the majority of them in my storage, but I will have to concoct the others. Thank you, Xianger. You're a lifesaver. The god of alchemy, Yu Xiang, then jumped off his lap and said, Follow me. Su Yang and Luo Zi proceeded to follow her to another room in the building that led them to a staircase that went down. At the end of the stair was another room, a massive basement with countless shelves placed neatly beside each other, almost like a library of sorts. But instead of books occupying these shelves, it was filled with pill bottles, kind of like a wine cellar. Wow, this place looks like an expensive pill store. Luo Zi was surprised by the location. However, her surprise grew into shock when she read some of the labels on these pill bottles. Celestial Star Pill, and there are so many bottles, Luo Zi exclaimed in a shocked voice. A single Celestial Star Pill would go for millions of flawless quality spirit jade, yet there was an entire shelf full of them right in front of her very eyes, and it was close enough for her to reach. The other shelves were no different, as all of them had incredibly valuable and priceless pills on display. This basement was definitely a priceless treasury, a paradise for alchemists. The longer Luo Zi stayed inside this place, and the more pills she saw, the more she was shocked by the existence of this basement. If the world somehow learns of this world that is filled with priceless ingredients, much less this basement that is filled with priceless pills, there would definitely be people risking their lives to invade this place. And as much as she wanted to snatch a few pill bottles from this place, Luo Zi resisted her urges and followed Yu Xiang with Su Yang, who appeared to be quite calm. Just like the ingredients outside, I am always left speechless every time I visit this place, no matter how many times I experience it, said Su Yang. He then took a deep breath and continued, This place also smells great. It has a unique smell that you cannot find outside, since this is the only place in the universe with such a massive collection of precious pills. If you want, you can take some of them. I have no use for them anyway, Yu Xiang said in a nonchalant voice. Are you trying to spoil me? Su Yang said with a smile on his face, and he continued, It's fine. I will only take what I absolutely need, and I will definitely repay you in the future for your help. Chapter 940. One unique alchemy flames. After spending about half an hour inside Yu Xiang's pill basement collecting the pills Su Yang needed for his journey, they left the basement and went back outside. I will go look for the ingredients needed to concoct the rest of the pills. Give me a few days, she said to him. Su Yang nodded and then said, Oh, right. If you don't mind, can you gather these ingredients for me as well? He then handed her another list of ingredients, but this list already had a couple of ingredients crossed out. When Yu Xiang saw this recipe, she raised her eyebrows. Clearly, she knew what he was trying to concoct just by looking at the recipe. Do you want me to help you concoct this pill as well? She suddenly asked him. No, I can concoct that pill by myself, he said. Okay, then I will be back. Yu Xiang said before flying away, but she would turn around to look at him once every few seconds until she could no longer see him. What kind of pill are you trying to concoct? Luo Zi asked him out of curiosity. It's a pill that fixes infertility, he said. What? Luo Zi's eyes widened slightly. Su Liking cannot give birth no matter how many times we tried, so I am concocting this pill for her, he explained. I see. So she was infertile, huh? Anyway, the god of alchemy is nothing like I had expected. I know that her childish appearance isn't her real appearance, but she sometimes feels quite childish, especially the way she speaks." Su Yang laughed out loud and said, "Yes, she's quite unique." A few days later, Yu Xiang returned to the house with a bunch of ingredients in her grasp. She then took a seat in front of the buildings and retrieved her cauldron, watching the god of alchemy concoct pills. "I wonder how many people would kill just to witness it," Luo Zi mumbled as they watched from the sidelines. Su Yang smiled and said, "Don't blink or you'll miss it." "Huh." Just as she said that, Yu Xiang tossed a couple of the ingredients inside the cauldron without heating up the cauldron first like one normally would. She then summoned her alchemy flames that looked very familiar to Su Yang. What beautiful alchemy flames! Luo Zi was immediately mesmerized by the azure-colored flames, the same ones used by Zhu Minji. Of course, Yu Xiang's mastery and control with the azure flames was incomparably superior, reaching beyond perfection. In less than a second, the cauldron heated up, melting the ingredients inside. Yu Xiang then used another second to shape the pill before using a few more seconds to complete the pill and taking it out of the cauldron. In just a couple of seconds, Yu Xiang has managed to concoct one of the most difficult pills in existence, and the pill even came out in flawless quality. This left Luo Zi speechless. Although she was not an alchemy master, she knew the basics, and she has never heard of someone concocting a pill with such speed and perfection before, much less witnessing it herself. After she retrieved the pill, Yu Xiang placed it inside a pill bottle before sealing it and tossing it to Su Yang. And then she immediately began concocting the next pill. Once she placed the ingredients inside the cauldron, Yu Xiang summoned her alchemy flames again, but they were a different color, an entirely different type of alchemy flames. Luo Zi wasn't surprised at all when she saw this, since she knew that there were people out there who could use more than one unique alchemy flame at once. So it wasn't mind-blowing that the god of alchemy, who is supposedly the best alchemy master in the world, could use more than one unique alchemy flames. However, she was curious how many unique alchemy flames the god of alchemy had, so she asked Su Yang, "Do you know how many unique alchemy flames she can use?" Su Yang merely smiled and said, "Take a guess." Luo Zi pondered for a moment before speaking. "I know the sect master of the Spirit Cauldron sect can use 13 different alchemy flames, and he's regarded as one of the top alchemy masters in the 4 divine heavens. If I have to guess, she knows around 20 to 30 different alchemy flames." "Not even close," said Su Yang. And he continued, "She can use every single alchemy flame out there. In other words, she can use all of them." All of them? Luo Zi was left speechless by this revelation. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of unique alchemy flames out there. How can a single individual possibly use all of them? She's not called the youngest and most accomplished god of alchemy for a reason. Of course, not many people know that she can use all the unique alchemy flames out there. Su Yang chuckled. While Su Yang and Luo Zi spoke with each other, Yu Xiang had already finished concocting the remaining pills Su Yang needed for his journey, and she had used a different alchemy flame for every pill she concocted. "Congratulations, Xianger. Looks like you can concoct pills again," Su Yang said to her afterward. "In fact, I think you've even improved since the last time I saw your skills. Here are your pills." Yu Xiang handed the pill bottles to him. "Thank you." Su Yang quickly tossed them inside his storage ring, feeling extremely confident in his plans now that he has Yu Xiang's unrivaled pills. "Also, these are the ingredients for your pill." Yu Xiang pointed at the leftovers. Now that he has all of the necessary ingredients, Su Yang can finally concoct the pill that will cure Su Liking's infertility. "Now that I have everything I need, do you want to work on the family seal?" Su Yang asked Yu Xiang, who nodded her head in a calm yet eager manner. Chapter 942, most powerful alchemy flames in the universe. I'll see you later. Su Yang said to Luo Zi before heading upstairs with Yu Xiang following behind him. Is he going to cultivate with her in that appearance? Luo Zi couldn't help but wonder as she watched Yu Xiang's childish figure follow Su Yang up the stairs. Compared to Xiao Rong's petite figure, Yu Xiang's appearance definitely looked younger, and some would even argue illegal as well. Once they entered Yu Xiang's room, Su Yang laid on her bed and watched as Yu Xiang climbed onto the bed with him. However, they didn't immediately cultivate, and Yu Xiang laid beside Su Yang. They silently stared at the ceiling for a few minutes before Yu Xiang spoke. Su Yang, I missed you. I missed you as well, Xianger. Yu Xiang then stood up on the bed and sat on his pelvis area. I want to love you and alchemy equally, but I think that's impossible since my feelings for you seemingly continue to grow endlessly. However, I think I am also fine with that. She leaned her small body until her lips were touching his lips. After a quick and gentle kiss on the lips, she sat back up and began loosening her robes, revealing her immature body. You're going to cultivate in that appearance? Su Yang asked her with raised eyebrows. Yu Xiang then retrieved a white pill before putting it inside her mouth in a seducing manner. After crunching on the pill a few times, her small figure began growing larger, until she was a full-fledged mature woman with two large and beautifully shaped breasts, only a few inches away from Su Yang's face. Yu Xiang's long black hair flowed down her naked back like a river, and Su Yang could feel two round and soft buttocks pressing against his legs. Her overall blossoming figure resembled Wang Xuren's mature body, but her assets were larger overall, especially her breasts. With such monsters on her chest, one would understand why she would prefer a childish appearance if they saw it. After returning to her original appearance, Yu Xiang lowered her body again. However, this time, Yu Xiang didn't kiss Su Yang. Instead, she pressed her large breasts against Su Yang's face and said, "You liked it when I did this before, right?" Su Yang chuckled. "I still do." He then moved his arms and used his claw-like hands to grope her large breasts, feeling as though he was massaging heaven itself. After massaging her breasts for a few moments, Su Yang opened his mouth and began sucking on the pink and erected tips on her breasts. Sometime later, Yu Xiang turned her body around and began loosening the lower part of his clothes. Seeing Yu Xiang's peerlessly round buttocks, Su Yang immediately grabbed it and pulled it towards his face. He then extended his tongue and began licking the slit that had pink meat inside. Meanwhile, Yu Xiang pulled out a stiff rod from within Su Yang's robes and took a deep breath. A euphoric look appeared on Yu Xiang's face, looking like she was obsessed with the smell of his meat stick. Once her nose was satisfied, Yu Xiang opened her mouth and gobbled up the entire rod with ease. Sloppy noises quickly filled the room. In response to Yu Xiang's delightful mouth techniques, Su Yang inserted his tongue deep inside her lower mouth that was drooling with saliva. Unfortunately, just like the case with Luo Zi, his cultivation base was too low to benefit from Yu Xiang's yin qi, so he could only consume them without absorbing its effects. After spending many minutes in this position, Yu Xiang stood up with her little sister dripping wet. "Are you ready?" Su Yang asked her. Seeing her nod, Su Yang smiled. He then summoned his alchemy flames, enveloping his rod with it. Yu Xiang's eyes flickered with excitement when she saw his flaming rod. "You like this, right?" he said with a slight chuckle at the end. Yu Xiang nodded eagerly before squatting down, inserting his flaming rod deep inside her lower mouth, feeling something incredibly hard and hot poking the end of her cave a moment later. Yu Xiang's eyes slightly rolled back when she felt an intense feeling of satisfaction and pleasure gush into her body during the moment of penetration. Once Yu Xiang snapped out of her daze, she started moving her hips, riding Su Yang as though he was a horse. Sometime later, Yu Xiang decided to summon her alchemy flames as well, engulfing the inside of her cave with a sea of unique alchemy flames, and flames of multiple colors began gushing from her cave. Blue, red, yellow, green, it was as though her lower mouth was spewing rainbow flames. Su Yang's body trembled with delight when he suddenly felt an indescribable feeling overwhelm his sword, sending little lightning snakes in every corner of his body. The only person who could possibly use such a technique in the four divine heavens was definitely Yu Xiang, who has mastered all the unique alchemy flames in the world. She was so proficient with the unique alchemy flames that she could even combine all of them together, creating an entirely new type of unique flames that could be considered the most powerful alchemy flames in the universe. However, instead of using this type of heaven-defying alchemy flame to concoct pills, Yu Xiang used it to satisfy her lover in bed. If the alchemy masters in the four divine heavens were to somehow learn of this, they would definitely die of envy and shock. Su Yang quickly began sweating when Yu Xiang began using her technique. Although he was able to handle it perfectly before, he was no longer in the same body, and even his endurance to pleasure was no longer as powerful as before. Therefore, he could only enjoy Yu Xiang's heavenly flames for a few seconds before tapping out and releasing a load of Yang Qi inside her cave. "This is the first time I have defeated you in bed," she said with him with a somewhat smug look on her face. And she continued, "Now when will you defeat me in alchemy? Chapter 943, Cheating, this doesn't count. How can you be so shameless, Xianger? You're an immortal whilst I am still only at the sovereign spirit realm. No matter how experienced I am, the difference is too big. Let me recover at least half of my strength before you challenge me," Su Yang said with a bittersweet smile on his face. And he continued, "And there's no way I can defeat you in alchemy, not even if I trained under you for another 1,000,000 years. Yu Xiang then responded with a smile on her face, "No excuses, Su Yang. A defeat is a defeat. If you don't want to admit defeat, then I will force you to admit defeat." She then summoned her alchemy flames and began riding his stiff rod again. Su Yang's body trembled with pleasure again, and he said with an adamant smile on his face, "Don't underestimate me." He got up from the bed and pinned Yu Xiang's beautiful body onto the bed, before using myriad of transformations to enlarge his rod and thrusting it inside her body, instantly gaining control of the flow. Yu Xiang's body shook with pleasure, and her lower mouth began spraying out yin qi when Su Yang continuously poked her weak spot with his enlarged rod. If it was the other ladies from the other world, they would have definitely lost consciousness by now. However, Yu Xiang was an immortal with incredible endurance levels, especially since she tempered her body with countless precious pills. Although her body was screaming with pleasure and her cave was gushing with yin qi, she was nowhere near exhausted or ready to give up. In fact, Yu Xiang had so much energy that she decided to concoct a pill while Su Yang pleasured her body. After taking out the ingredients from her storage ring, Yu Xiang concocted a couple of pills without needing any cauldron. A few seconds later, Yu Xiang consumed the pills she just freshly concocted. Su Yang raised his eyebrows when he recognized the pills she consumed. "That's definitely cheating." Su Yang didn't know whether to laugh or cry after seeing her consume these pills that not only increased her stamina, but also improved her endurance. Furthermore, since they were pills concocted by the god of alchemy herself, its effects would naturally be much stronger than normal. "You're using your dual cultivation skills, yet I cannot use my alchemy skills. You're the shameless one, Su Yang," she said with a smile. "I guess I can't really argue against that." Su Yang wasn't the least angry about the situation. In fact, he has long gotten used to Yu Xiang acting in such a manner, as this was not their first time cultivating with each other. The two of them continued to cultivate with each other like this for the entire week, until Su Yang could no longer physically or mentally continue. And for the first time since his reincarnation, Su Yang had suffered complete defeat by Yu Xiang's immortal body that was supported by her godlike pills. Cultivating with Yu Xiang was so exhausting that it couldn't even compare to when he cultivated with tens of thousands of cultivators without any breaks at the Profound Blossom Sect. Okay, I surrender. You win this time, Xianger. Su Yang collapsed onto the bed with his body soaked in sweat and yin qi. However, I will definitely return this favor in the future when I regain my strength tenfold, he said with a grin on his face. Yu Xiang laid beside him with her cave flowing with yang qi, and she said in a low voice, I cannot wait. After resting for a few hours, Yu Xiang suddenly said, wanna go again? Just a little more, okay? Okay. Thus, they began cultivating again, and they ended up continuing for another week. In the end, Su Yang activated the family seal on Yu Xiang's body. As for where the family seal appeared, it appeared on her chest. Once they cleaned up the mess, Su Yang said, Xianger, I have another favor to ask of you. What is it? Yu Xiang asked him as she consumed a pill that transformed her back to her childish body. There are 2 people within the family that would like to study alchemy under you. Can you teach them for a bit? Su Yang finally decided to tell her about Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua. You want me to accept disciples? You know I don't like teaching people since it takes away from my time. Of course, you were an exception, she said with a slight frown on her face. Despite having a sect of her own, Yu Xiang doesn't actually teach any of the disciples, as that was the sect elder's responsibility. In fact, her sect was a one-of-a-kind place where the sect master doesn't really engage with the sect or its disciple. Yu Xiang's role as a sect master was mostly in name, with the sect elders doing most of the work. Despite the lack of involvement from the sect master, the sect is still one of the most successful and powerful sects within the 4 divine heavens, simply because of Yu Xiang's status as the god of alchemy. Even if she doesn't do anything, her name alone could carry an entire sect to the peak of the 4 divine heavens. Of course, that's why I am only asking you. If you don't want to teach them, I will try to look for other ways to help them. They're very passionate about alchemy after all. Yu Xiang stared at him in silence for a moment before speaking. Since I am now part of the family, I should at the very least give them a chance. And she continued, I will teach them for 1 month as a trial, but if they don't show any promise or waste my time, I will immediately send them away. If you agree to this term, I will teach them. Su Yang nodded. I expected you would say something like this. In fact, I even brought them here with me so you can speak with them yourself. Chapter 944, 1-month trial. What do you mean you brought them here? Yu Xiang asked him. You'll understand in a minute. Sometime later, Su Yang and Yu Xiang went downstairs, but Luo Zi was nowhere to be seen. Of course, they didn't expect her to sit around until they were finished. However, without Luo Zi around, Su Yang wouldn't be able to call out Bai Lihua and Wang Xuren. They then went outside to see if they could find Luo Zi outside, and sure enough, they found Luo Zi wandering around the ingredient fields, seemingly taking her time looking through every ingredient that was there, almost as though she was in a flower field. Zi, Su Yang called out to her. Once Luo Zi returned, she said, You're done already. I was expecting to wait another week or 2. Su Yang nodded and he said, Yes, we are done, and I told her about Bai Lihua and Wang Xuren. Can you summon the spatial device so that she could speak with them? Luo Zi then summoned the Immortal's treasury before teleporting Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua outside without needing to go inside. Of course, she made sure to warn them before she teleported them without telling them the purpose of taking them outside. A moment later, 2 beautiful women appeared before Luo Zi like ghosts. Su Yang, did something happen? Bai Lihua asked him after seeing his handsome face. He nodded with a smile. The god of alchemy would like to speak with you too. The god of alchemy, Where? Wang Xuren immediately began looking around with a crazed look on her face, completely unaware that she was already standing right before the god of alchemy. I am the god of alchemy, Yu Xiang said a moment later. What? Both Bai Lihua and Wang Xuren turned to look at the little girl standing beside Su Yang, and their eyes widened with disbelief when they realized that she was the one who just claimed to be the god of alchemy. She's the god of alchemy. Is this some kind of joke that you're playing on us, Su Yang? Wang Xuren asked him, as she was having a hard time believing that such a young girl could possibly be the god of alchemy. Su Yang smiled and said, "You should know by now that one's appearance in the cultivation world can be extremely deceiving, especially since you're an alchemy master. What you're seeing right now is merely a disguise caused by a pill. I'm sorry. Please forgive my rudeness just now, senior god of alchemy." Wang Xuren quickly lowered her head and apologized to Yu Xiang upon realizing her mistake. "You can address me as Senior Xiang," she said in a nonchalant voice. If Wang Xuren hadn't apologized to her, perhaps she would have been a little upset. "Anyways, Su Yang told me that you both wanted to study under me, is that correct?" Yu Xiang then asked them. "That is correct, Senior Xiang. We hope to study alchemy under you." They both responded simultaneously, almost like they'd practiced this before. Yu Xiang then said, "I don't know if Su Yang told you this or not, but I hate having disciples, as that takes away my time from alchemy. However, since you're now my family and Su Yang asked for this favor, I have decided to give you both a chance. 1 month I will give you 1 month to prove yourself worthy to study under me. I don't mean to brag, but countless alchemy masters out there would kill to study under me regardless if they are the worst alchemy master or the second best in the 4 divine heavens. During this month, I will test your talents and continue to push your limits every day until you give up or die. I will make you undergo countless trials that will be far above what you're capable of. If you succeed and pass my trials, I will officially accept you as my disciple and train you into the best alchemy masters in the 4 divine heaven, only below me, of course. However, like I'd already said, you will undergo harsh trials that might even kill you. If you're willing to risk your life to study under me, raise your hand." Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua immediately raised their hands without hesitation. Su Yang has already warned them that studying under the god of alchemy would be incredibly harsh and seemingly impossible at first, and they might even lose their lives. However, they didn't want to fall behind Su Yang and everyone else in this new world that's far more profound than even beyond their imaginations. "Then we will spend a month in this place. If you pass, I will take you to my sect, where you'll compete against the other disciples while studying under me. If you fail, I will return you to Luozi here. Do you have any questions or problems?" Yu Xiang asked them. They shook their heads. "Good, then we will start next week," Yu Xiang said. She then turned to look at Su Yang and said, "I will spend another month in this place before I return to the sect and start concocting pills again." "As long as you return to concocting pills," he said with a smile. "Su Yang, make sure you visit us from time to time, okay?" Wang Xuren suddenly said to him. "It's going to be difficult traveling anywhere once I join the boundless Yin Yang sect, but I will try my best to visit you all once in a while," he said. "It's a promise." Bai Lihua said, "Of course. Stay safe, Su Yang," Wang Xuren said to him, and she continued, "I will definitely overcome this trial, and then I am going to surpass you one day. I look forward to that day," he smiled. "Oh, right." Su Yang suddenly looked at Yu Xiang and said, "I almost forgot. The black fog covering the jaded garden. Can you get rid of it? It's causing trouble for the cities nearby, and according to what I heard, it even killed more than just a few people." Chapter 945, Celestial Yang Qi. "Okay." Yu Xiang nodded in a calm manner, seemingly undisturbed despite hearing that she'd killed innocent people with her black fog. This sent chills down Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua's spine. They thought Su Yang was exaggerating when he said that Yu Xiang was a cold individual who didn't care about anything else besides alchemy. Looking at her now, they silently prayed for their future as her disciples. "Are you going to leave now, Su Yang?" Yu Xiang asked him sometime later. "Yes. Now that I have pretty much everything I need for my journey, I will go join the boundless Yin Yang sect to increase my cultivation base. It's still probably going to take a couple of years before I can regain some of my original strength, but the boundless Yin Yang sect is pretty much the best sect for dual cultivators in the four divine heavens, unless something changed while I was away." "Okay, I will see you later then," Yu Xiang said to him. They have only been with Yu Xiang for a few minutes, but Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua could tell that Yu Xiang was an entirely different individual whenever she spoke with Su Yang. The difference was shockingly vast as well. "Good luck, Lihua. Good luck, Xuren." Su Yang then gave each of them a hug and passionate kiss before leaving the medicine paradise with Luo Zi. Of course, Yu Xiang had to go outside first to cleanse the black fog that covered the jaded garden. If Su Yang and Luo Zi went outside still with the black fog there, their lives would immediately be in danger. Once she cleansed the jaded garden, returning it to its former glory, Yu Xiang returned to the medicine paradise. The plants are unharmed despite being consumed by the poisonous fog. Luo Zi was shocked when she saw how the jaded garden remained untouched despite spending a few hundred years surrounded by one of the most powerful poisons within the four divine heavens. Logically speaking, all of the plants here should have withered away by the poison, yet there doesn't appear to be any damages done to the place. Su Yang smiled and said, "One thing about Xianger is that she doesn't like to waste or hurt ingredients even if they're just ordinary plants. While her pills have harmed a lot of people, I cannot recall an instance where her pills have affected the environment or the plants there." Luo Zi was speechless after hearing his words. To create the world's most powerful poison was already incredible enough, but to think that she'd managed to make the most powerful poison in the world that doesn't hurt the environment was simply astonishing. The god of alchemy, what an unfathomable individual. "I look forward to our future together," she said with a smile on her face a moment later. "Anyways, what now? Are you going to go straight to the boundless Yin-Yang sect now?" Luo Zi then asked him. "I would like to join them as soon as possible, but I need to see whether they are in their disciple recruitment period or not. If I recall correctly, the boundless Yin-Yang sect only recruits disciples once every 10 years. Hopefully, their recruitment period is soon, or I will have to think of something else. Can't you just go to other dual cultivation sects? The boundless Yin-Yang sect isn't the only one out there. Although they may be powerful, there are other dual cultivation sects as powerful, if not even more powerful than them in the four divine heavens. Or is there a specific reason why you must go to the boundless Yin-Yang sect?" Su Yang looked at the clear blue sky for a moment before speaking. "The boundless Yin-Yang Immortal Caves. The boundless Yin-Yang sect is the only place with such a unique place, and I'd like to temper my body there. Although I can increase my cultivation base anywhere, I can only temper my body and yang qi to an extreme degree at the boundless Yin-Yang sect. The boundless Yin-Yang Immortal Caves. I think I have heard of that place before. It's a natural spot where it occasionally spews out celestial yang qi and celestial yin qi, right?" "Yes, that's right. Although the celestial yang qi will benefit any man, it will benefit men with celestial qi even more. Just like how there is ordinary profound qi and celestial qi, there was ordinary yang qi and celestial yang qi. Celestial yang qi is basically a superior version of extreme yang qi. But unlike extreme yang qi, one cannot cultivate celestial yang qi naturally, meaning that no matter how hard one trains, one will never be able to use celestial yang qi. In his previous life, Su Yang was only able to make his Yang Qi into extreme Yang Qi, as he didn't have any celestial Qi in his body, making it impossible for him to acquire celestial Yang Qi regardless of how talented he was. However, that was not the case anymore. Now that his body contains celestial Qi, even if it's only a small amount, he would be able to cultivate the celestial Yang Qi and surpass his old self. This possibility made Su Yang incredibly excited for his future, but in order to acquire celestial Yang Qi, he must first enter the boundless Yin Yang sect. "Let's go to marital heaven, shall we?" Su Yang asked her a moment later. She nodded. They proceeded to make their way back to the capital city of Jade Heaven, Divine Jade City. Once they arrived, they paid for 3 tickets to Martial Heaven, not even bothering to hide Zio wrong this time. After waiting for a few hours for the destination to rotate to marital heaven, they entered the teleport formation and left Jade Heaven. The Martial Heaven was quite far away from the Jade Heaven, almost twice as far when comparing the distance between Jade Heaven and Celestial Heaven, so it took them twice as long to reach the other side of the wormhole. A week later, they arrived at the capital city of Martial Heaven, Martial God City. Author's note: there is a new voting system for Readnovelful called Golden Tickets for the premium novels that will reset once a month. You can get them through spending coins or gifting the novel a certain amount, 500 plus. If you don't have this in your app, update the app. Therefore, in order to bribe you into voting, I shall give you 3 bonus chapters, including daily chapters, for both Dual Cultivation and Cultivation Online if Heroes Carnage. My new novel reaches 1,000 golden tickets. Chapter 946, a new plan. The moment Su Yang and Luo Zi arrived at Martial Heaven, they could feel a major difference in the quality of profound Qi in the air. Compared to the Jade Heaven and the Celestial Heaven, the quality of profound Qi in Martial Heaven was vastly superior, almost incomparable. This is one of the major reasons why Martial Heaven is always ranked first in terms of prowess, and also why most of the top sects within the 4 divine heavens are located at Martial Heaven. "Where to now?" Luo Zi asked him shortly after they arrived at Martial God City. "There should be an area specifically for information brokers a couple of minutes from this place. Let's go see when the last disciple examination was for the boundless Yin Yang sect," he said. They proceeded to make their way to this location with information brokers. Once they arrived at the area, they could see multiple information stores set up on the same street. Su Yang picked one of them and went inside with Luo Zi. "How may I help you?" the middle-aged man working inside the store asked them. "I want some information about the boundless Yin Yang sect. When was the last time they hosted their disciple examination?" Su Yang asked the man. The man proceeded to give them a price for the information, and after Su Yang handed over the fee, the man spoke. "They had a disciple examination just last year." Su Yang frowned when he heard this, as this meant that the boundless Yin Yang sect wouldn't be accepting new disciples for another 9 years. And as much as he wanted to wait, he simply couldn't wait 9 years to join the sect, as he had an appointment with Tang Lingxi in 9 years, and the place they were supposed to meet wasn't a place he could enter at his current level. 9 years, what now? Luo Zi asked him. "Let's go somewhere more private first," he said. Sometime later, they rented a room in some random hotel. The first thing Luo Zi did was conceal the entire room with a formation. Su Yang then sat down on the bed with a somewhat exhausted-looking expression on his face. "If only I'd returned a year earlier," he sighed out loud. 9 years may be a short time in my eyes, but to you it's probably too long to wait, huh?" Luo Zi said to him. "Yes, way too long. I have to meet up with Lingxi in 9 years or she'll hurt herself, even risking death," he sighed. "Sister Lingxi, why don't you have one of us meet her in your stead?" Luo Zi suggested. Su Yang shook his head and said, "That won't work. Linksy is a stern individual who won't believe anything from anyone unless she sees it for herself. And the location we're supposed to meet up isn't a place I want any of you to traverse. It's too dangerous. Then what are you going to do? Are there any ways for you to enter the boundless Yin-Yang sect without taking the disciple examination? I know many sects out there have made exceptions and accepted disciples even after the disciple examination ended. The boundless Yin-Yang sect shouldn't be any different. There are certainly other ways to enter the boundless Yin-Yang sect without taking the disciple examination, but these methods are quite tedious and would require me to contact some people who I don't want to know that I am still alive. Is there anything I or the others can do? Luo Zi asked. If you do that, it'll definitely attract attention, and I don't want to be in the spotlight even before I join the sect, he said. Su Yang then laid on the bed and closed his eyes to ponder. Luo Zi didn't say anything and allowed him to think in silence. A few minutes later, Su Yang opened his eyes and said, "Since I cannot approach them, I will have to make them approach me instead." "What?" Luo Zi looked at him with wide eyes. This is all he could come up with after thinking for so long. And what did he mean by making them approach him? Allow me to explain. I am going to go to the closest city to the boundless Yin-Yang sect, and then I am going to make a name for myself there. Hopefully, it won't take too long for someone at the sect to notice my presence and invite me to join the sect. And how are you going to make them notice you? By dual cultivating, of course. Is that so? Luo Zi looked at him with a somewhat weird look on her face. When Su Yang saw this, he said with a smile, "Don't look at me like I am crazy. The city nearest to the boundless Yin-Yang sect is called the City of Pleasure, and it is quite famous for being a place where cultivators can go to enjoy themselves. From luxurious escorts to mortals who simply want to have one-night stands, you can find them all in the City of Pleasure. The disciples of boundless Yin-Yang sect usually go to this city to have fun when they get bored of their fellow disciples, and if I can cultivate with one of them, I will display some of my skills just enough to make them interested in me. If I do this right, they will definitely try to recruit me to the sect," Su Yang said with a confident look on his face. "It could take weeks, even months before they notice me, but it'll be much better than waiting for 9 years. Su Yang then turned to look at Luo Zi and asked her, "Are you going to come with me, or are you going to return to the sacred lands? I will follow you until you reach the city and probably even spend a few more days with you, but after that, I will have to return to the sect. I'm afraid that if I keep the others waiting, they will get impatient and start seeking for you, and there are some important events coming up for the sect," she said. "All right." Su Yang nodded. Chapter 947 City of Pleasure. Su Yang and Luo Zi left the martial god city shortly after they arrived, using the teleport formation to instantly transport them to the City of Pleasure, a renowned city within martial heaven. Once they arrived at the city, Su Yang and Luo Zi went to look for a hotel, and there were plenty of hotels within the City of Pleasure. In fact, the number of hotels within the City of Pleasure far surpassed that of ordinary buildings and stores, as one-night stands were quite popular in this place, and with the massive number of visitors every day, they required a lot of hotels. As they walked down the wide and busy street, they could see countless women standing around. Pretty young ladies, graceful ladies, mature women, beautiful women, there were all kinds of beauties available in the City of Pleasure, all of them looking to please others or wanting to be pleasured. There were also a lot of handsome men in the City of Pleasure, just for the ladies or other men depending on one's taste. "How much experience do you have in this place?" Luo Zi suddenly asked Su Yang. "What makes you think I would have experience in such a place?" Su Yang responded with a smile on his face. "Please, this place is called the City of Pleasure. It has your middle name in it. I wouldn't be surprised if you were the lord of this place at one point in time," she said. Su Yang laughed out loud at her words and he said, "Unfortunately, you're wrong about this one. I have only been here a handful of times and most of them were business-related. In fact, I didn't like this place in the past." "Really? Why not? This place is like a paradise for dual cultivators," she said. "I'm not exactly sure myself either, to be completely honest with you. I just never really liked the place ever since I heard about it. Maybe it's because it will be too easy for you to seduce someone in this place that's catered to people like you. I know you have a habit of trying to challenge yourself by chasing after women people deem impossible to conquer. If you look at our family, almost everyone has impressive backgrounds and plenty of influence within the four divine heavens women that one normally wouldn't even imagine conquering." Luo Zi said to him. Su Yang chuckled and said, "I cannot deny that I didn't like a good challenge back then. The more someone would refuse, the more effort I'd put into conquering her. However, I think I have changed since then." "You sure have," Luo Zi said with a smile. Sometime later, they eventually found a hotel that wasn't already fully booked, and they rented the room for a week. Once they were inside the room, Luo Zi concealed the room with a formation. Su Yang then retrieved one of the pills Yu Xiang gave him and consumed it, altering his fatty appearance to something more ordinary and average. If a stranger were to look at Su Yang right now, they'd only see an ordinary scholar who didn't have any impressive or special features. He was just your run-of-the-mill scholar. "That's your new appearance." Luo Zi looked at him with her eyebrows slightly raised. "Yes, how do I look?" "You look lackluster, so plain that I can speak with you and then forget about you the moment we stop talking," she said. Su Yang chuckled at her words and he said, "Good enough. Well, what are you going to do now?" "I am curious how you're going to attract the boundless Yin-Yang sect without attracting too much attention." Hearing her question, Su Yang stared at her with a dead serious look on his face, and he spoke in a calm voice, "I am going to open up a store." "A what?" Luo Zi's eyes widened. "A store," he repeated. "I heard you, but what kind of store?" "A massage parlor," he said, leaving Luo Zi speechless. "You're going to open up a massage parlor?" Luo Zi never thought she'd see the day where Su Yang would do something so random and ridiculous. The god of pleasure opening up a massage parlor. It was truly a miracle she never thought could be possible. "Once I open my massage parlor, I will have a way to make a name for myself without any suspicions. Eventually, the boundless Yin-Yang sect will notice me and try to recruit me," he said with a confident smile on his face. "I really have to see this now. Let's open up your store now," Luo Zi said, seemingly more eager to open up the massage parlor than Su Yang himself. "Okay." They proceeded to make their way to the management building for the City of Pleasure, where they handled all business-related things for the city. "How may I help you too?" an old man asked them once they reached the desk. "I would like to open up a store in the city," said Su Yang. "What kind of store are you looking to open in the City of Pleasure?" "A brothel." "No, I want to open up a massage parlor," he said with a serious look on his face. "I'm sorry, but there are already enough massage parlors in the City of Pleasure." The old man shook his head. However, Luo Zi suddenly retrieved 10 flawless quality spirit stones and placed them on the desk in front of the old man, whose eyes immediately widened with shock when he realized what they were. 10 flawless quality spirit stones were more than enough to buy 100 shops within the City of Pleasure, much less a single massage parlor. Please excuse this old man, esteemed guests. I must have made a mistake due to old age. Now that I think about it, there seems to be a lack of massage parlors in the City of Pleasure, and if you'd like to open one, we will gladly have you with us." The old man's attitude did a 180 turn upon seeing the money. Chapter 948, Massage Parlor. Although it was questionable why someone who could afford to waste 10 flawless quality spirit stones to open up a massage parlor would do so, the old man couldn't care less about their reasons, and decided to accept them. The old man then began looking for available areas in the city of pleasure. Do you have any preferences for the location of your massage parlor, esteemed guests? The old man asked them. Not really, Su Yang said, as he wasn't worried about getting no customers. Then how about the red light district? It is usually the most populated area in the city of pleasure, and most of the people there are high class. The old man suggested. Su Yang pondered for a moment before shaking his head. I want something less extravagant and something more basic. It is also a plus if there's a good variety of people there. The old man nodded and pondered for a minute before speaking again. What about the pink light district? You can find all sorts of people there, from mortals to immortals. That sounds good, Su Yang agreed. Great, what about the building? There are currently 6 buildings available in the pink light district. Should I just get the biggest one that's available for you? No, I want something small and comfortable. I will only be accepting one customer at a time after all. There are 2 buildings that fit your criteria. Here are the layouts of the building. Which one do you prefer? The old man then placed 2 scrolls on the desk, showing them 2 different buildings and their interiors. I want this one. Su Yang picked the building on the right, which had 2 small rooms and a single bathroom. Okay, then I will register you as the new owner of the building now. Can you give me some basic information about yourself? Su Yang nodded and began making up his background. My name is Xiao Yang, and I am from a common family. After failing to become a scholar multiple times, I have decided to give up on becoming a scholar to start my own business. I am also 20 years old. Su Yang gave the old man more information than was needed just in case someone were to ask them about his background. A common family. The old man raised his eyebrows. What kind of common family has the ability to spend 10 flawless grade spirit stones to open up a massage parlor in the city of pleasure? And why would a failed scholar suddenly decide to open up a massage parlor? What made him change direction in life this hard? The old man was curious, but he didn't dare ask. What about you, young lady? The old man turned to look at Luo Zi, thinking that she will also be working with Su Yang. Luo Zi shook her head and said, I won't be working in the store. He's the sole owner of the store. I am just paying for him since I owe him a debt. I understand. Just me a few minutes to make this official. The old man then went away for some minutes before returning with some scrolls in his hand and a key. Here are the documents that will prove you're the owner of the massage parlor. This one over here has all of the rules you must follow as a store owner of the city of pleasure. This one is about taxes. Every year, the city will take a percentage of your income as tax depending on whichever district you are located in. Oh, this one is the location of your building. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now or come back later. Thank you. Su Yang accepted the items and tossed them into his storage ring before leaving the place with Luo Zi. They then followed the map until they arrived before a small and empty building that was located in the center of the Pink Light District, one of many districts within the city of pleasure. Using the key given to them, they went into this building. The first room was a small squared room that had a single desk in the middle with nothing else. This will be the reception, Su Yang said as he walked to the door straight ahead, entering the second room in this building. The second room was 3 times larger than the first room, giving Su Yang plenty of room to work with. After spending a moment looking around the building, Su Yang cleaned the place until not even a speck of dust remained. He then placed a couple of chairs in the reception room and a single large mattress in the center of the second room. This is it. It looks so unprofessional and sketchy, Luo Zi said afterward, giving her honest opinion of the place. I don't have any proper furniture at this moment, so I will decorate the place properly later, he said. This will suffice for now. Su Yang then retrieved a large piece of cloth with something written on it from his storage ring. Luo Zi read the contents on the cloth with her eyebrows raised the whole time. Heaven massage, experience what it feels like to be in heaven. First 3 customers free of charge. Indeed, Su Yang had kept the sign he'd created for his massage business within the Profound Blossom Sect when he was still a mere outer court disciple this entire time. This thing doesn't look new. When did you make it? Luo Zi noticed this and asked him. When I first regained my memories in the other world, he said in a calm voice. Why did you keep something like this? She couldn't help but ask. I just felt like it, I guess. It has some history behind it as well. Sometime later, once they were prepared to open, Su Yang hung the sign made of cloth directly in front of the building, attracting attention from the surrounding pedestrians and the other stores already. But it was not because they wanted a massage. Instead, they were baffled by his sloppy and poor advertising method, and some of them even thought it was a joke. Chapter 949 First Customer. What the heck is he doing? Did someone finally decide to take up that store? One of the store owners there asked the others. Heavenly massage, so a massage parlor. Don't we already have enough of those in the city? I'm surprised the management even allowed him to open another one. The management probably made a mistake, but this is good news for us since this new business most likely won't affect our business at all, said another. There were over a dozen stores around Su Yang's massage parlor. Half of them were hotels with the other half being brothels. There were a few unique stores, such as a store that sold special treasures that can only be used inside the bedroom, and another one that sold pills and medicine that enhances one's experience in the bedroom. Of course, there were also a couple of massage parlors within the Pink Light District, and all of them have more reputation and credit than Su Yang's newly opened massage parlor, meaning that getting new customers would be difficult. After hanging the sign outside the building, Su Yang went back inside and proceeded to wait for customers. 3 days passed by in a flash since Su Yang opened up his massage parlor, but he has yet to have a single customer walk through his doors. 3 days and not a single customer despite advertising free services. This isn't a good look for your business, dear, Luo Zi said to him. And she continued, if you cannot get customers when it's free, how in heaven's name are you going to get customers once you start charging people? Patience, Zi. Patience, Su Yang said with a calm look on his face as he cultivated in the corner of the room. Hopefully you get a customer before I leave in a few days, Luo Zi said. It may start out slow, extremely slow, but the moment I get my first customer, things will speed up significantly, he said. They continued to wait for a customer to show up. 2 days later, they finally heard the door to their building open. A moment later, they can hear a feminine voice. Hello, is there anybody here? Luo Zi then went outside and said, Welcome to Heavenly Massage. How may I help you? Luo Zi decided to take the role of receptionist for as long as she was working there. A woman with ordinary facial features but a beautiful slender figure walked up to her and asked, I saw the promotion outside and decided to give it a try. After all, I can't refuse free things, or am I too late? No, you're not. Each session will be for 30 minutes. Are you okay with that? Luo Zi asked her. Yes, I am fine with that. The woman nodded. Luo Zi then guided her to the next room that only took a couple of steps to arrive. The moment they went inside this room, they could see an ordinary young man with a scholarly aura around him standing there with a gentle smile on his face. Welcome to Heavenly Massage, beautiful young fairy. Su Yang greeted the woman. Thank you. The woman was taken by surprise by Su Yang's compliment, as this was her first time being called beautiful. Please lay down over here with your back facing the ceiling. Su Yang then pointed at the luxurious mattress on the floor. The woman was stunned that they didn't even have a proper massage table, but she laid on the mattress regardless. Wow, what a comfortable mattress. The woman was once again taken by surprise by the high-quality mattress under her body. It was definitely one of the most comfortable mattresses she has experienced in her life thus far. "Let me know when you're ready so that we can begin," Su Yang said to her once she laid down. "You can start now," she said to him. "Okay, please excuse me." Su Yang then kneeled beside the mattress and began caressing his fingers across her back while she was still fully clothed. The woman's body trembled at the sensation of Su Yang's fingers on her back, feeling as though his fingers were caressing her skin despite having clothes on. A few moments later, Su Yang began pressing his fingers into certain locations on her back, poking her vital points with the finger of fulfillment technique. Ah tilde. To her own surprise, the woman subconsciously released a loud moan that echoed in the small room. Su Yang didn't mind it at all and continued to massage her vital points all over her body. In just a few minutes, the woman had moaned multiple times, and her body was twitching all over the place. "Do you want to turn around?" Su Yang asked the woman. "Yes." The woman then flipped her body around with some difficulty due to her sensitive body at the moment. However, just as Su Yang moved his hands, the woman said, "Wait a moment, let me take off my clothes. Do you mind?" "Make yourself comfortable," he said, still with a gentle smile on his face. Despite his ordinary appearances, the woman was charmed by his gentle smile and seemingly noble demeanor, not to mention his godlike hand techniques. The woman then loosened her clothes and spread it over the mattress like a blanket. "You have a beautiful figure, young fairy," Su Yang said to her. Compared to her lackluster face, her body was incredibly beautiful, perfectly portioned and beautifully shaped. "I am ready," the woman said to him in a somewhat bashful look on her face, feeling like a docile young lady waiting to be pampered. Su Yang nodded and proceeded to caress his hands all over the woman's naked body, starting from her stomach and moving up to her breasts, before going back down again and massaging her legs. Su Yang continued to tease this woman's body for 10 minutes without actually going for her little sister that was soaked with yin qi by now. When the woman could no longer endure his teasing, she grabbed his hand and moved it towards her little sister while looking at him with a passionate gaze. "Do whatever you want to my body," she said to him. Chapter 950. "Do you do anything other than massages?" Ah tilde. Su Yang's first customer in the massage parlor moaned passionately as he worked his fingers inside her soaking wet cave that was also gushing with yin qi. After giving Su Yang full access to her body, he has been displaying some of his godlike techniques on her little sister until the woman was on the verge of going crazy. "Yes tilde, yes tilde, yes tilde, more tilde, more tilde, give me more tilde." The woman begged loudly, completely unaware that her voice and moaning had penetrated the thin walls of this building and resounded in the street for everyone to hear. A few buildings away from Su Yang's massage parlor, a middle-aged man had a frown on his face as he heard the woman's moaning voice that was clearly filled with pleasure. "Hey, I saw one of your girls entering that new massage parlor. Did you send her inside to test the place?" Someone eventually approached the middle-aged man and asked him. The man nodded and said, "I was hoping that whoever was managing that place sucked so that I could chase him out of the pink light district. However, my plans have basically backfired. With how loud that bitch is moaning, everyone that wasn't interested in it at first will definitely be looking at it in a different light now. Fuck, I shouldn't have sent her there." The middle-aged man realized that he just sent a rabbit inside a tiger's den that appeared to be a harmless place. And just as the middle-aged man had expected, the pedestrians were curious about the situation inside this new massage parlor that came out of the blue, as they have never heard such blissful-sounding moans before. Eventually, someone couldn't resist her curiosity and entered the building. "Welcome to Heavenly Massage. How may I help you?" Luo Zi greeted her. "Hi, I would like a massage," said the pretty young woman in a nervous voice, as the moaning suddenly became twice as loud inside the building. "Okay. The current session will end in about 5 minutes. Until then, Please take a seat over there and wait until it's your turn, Luo Zi said, acting incredibly professional despite her status. Luo Zi acted so professionally that if someone told the customers that she was a powerful immortal at the peak of immortal ascension, nobody would believe that person. In the first place, there was simply no way that an immortal at the peak of immortal ascension would work as a mere receptionist in some massage parlor in one of the most lustful cities in the four divine heaven. The new customer took a seat at the side of the room and began waiting, but her heart could not calm down with the constant moaning coming from the other room that was only a couple of meters away. 3 minutes later, another new customer entered the building and asked for a massage. Now that they had 3 customers, Luo Zi went outside to take down the sign that advertised free massages. The moaning finally stopped a couple more minutes later, and the street became dead silent almost instantly after the moaning stopped. About 5 minutes later, the door to the massage room opened, and a woman slowly walked out in an unstable manner, looking like she was incredibly drunk. The woman took a couple of steps towards the exit before stopping to release a soft moan. The next second, liquid began dripping onto the floor beneath the woman, almost like she'd pissed herself. However, the water was too clear to be pee and looked more like yin qi. The customers swallowed nervously when they saw this, and their expectations for the massage session grew exponentially. Sometime later, the woman made it to the exit with much difficulty. "Goodbye, thank you for your business," Luo Zi said to the woman with a bright smile on her face, playing the role of a receptionist to perfection. She then looked at the next customer and said, "You may now enter the massage room." The pretty young woman nodded and stood up before making her way to the massage room. Once inside the room, the new customer was shocked by the scene inside the massage room. The room was soaked, almost like it had been sprayed with water, and standing beside a mattress was an ordinary-looking young man who was also soaked in water. "Please give me a moment to clean up," Su Yang said to the woman, who nodded her head in a dazed manner. Su Yang then used a profound technique to dry the wet walls and floor almost instantly. He then started changing his clothes in front of the woman, revealing his refined body to her. Of course, he did this purposefully. The young woman swallowed nervously when she saw Su Yang's flawless upper body, but when she noticed the large sausage dangling between his legs, her jaw dropped from shock, as she has never seen such a large sword before, and it wasn't even in its awakened form just yet. This made the woman wonder what it would look like when fully erected. Su Yang quickly finished changing his clothes, and once he was done, he replaced the soaked mattress with a brand new one. "I apologize for the wait, young fairy. Please lay down for me," Su Yang said to her with a handsome smile on his face. The young woman nodded her head and laid on the comfortable mattress with her heart beating like crazy. Sometime later, Su Yang began massaging her body that was still fully clothed. However, the young woman quickly realized that even with her clothes on, it felt like she was naked when Su Yang touched her body, so she decided to take it off a few minutes into the massage. A few minutes later, once it was time for her to flip, the woman flipped her naked body over and looked at Su Yang with a hinting gaze. However, Su Yang acted like he didn't notice it and continued to massage her body professionally until the woman personally spread her legs wide and said, "Hey, do you do anything other than massages here? Money isn't an issue for me." Su Yang chuckled in a charming manner before speaking in a calm voice. "You're the customer. I will do whatever you want me to do." The woman then pointed at the area between his legs and said, "I want you to massage my body with that monster inside your pants."